What's going on? 602. Good morning, Nashville, from the 1045 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. You got Monday Night Football last night. Seahawks were able to complete the comeback, beating the Eagles 20-17. 152 remaining on the clock with Philly up by 4. Drew Lock leads a 92-yard game-winning drive, capped off by a 29-yard strike to Jackson Smith and Jigba's fingertips to give the Seahawks the victory. Drew Lock hadn't started a game in the NFL since 2021 for the Broncos. Now the Seahawks looking to take on the Titans this weekend on Sunday. So update on some Titans moves. Jeremy Fowler reports quarterback Will Levis dealing with a high ankle sprain. Still uncertain whether the Titans will need to sit him and for how long if they do, but the promising rookie campaign faces a health challenge this week. Antier Tart, who was put on waivers earlier in the week, was claimed by the Houston Texans. Tart had amassed 21 tackles, 8 tackles for a loss, and 1 sack on the year. He's going to see the Titans again for the second Texan matchup in Houston on December 31st. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 1045 The Zone.
Welcome to your Tuesday morning on RKW, brewed by 8th and Roast, where we've got an update on Will Levis's ankle injury, a new landing spot for a former Tennessee Titan within the AFC South. Austin Price of AllQuest talking Tennessee transfer portal with us in our Tuesday visit with Ron Slay. A jam-packed Tuesday. If you blink, you'll miss all 4 hours with Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson. Robert Walsh back behind the controls, behind the glass. My name is Will Bowling. Tuesday, December the 19th. The phone number is 615-737-1045. And it's starting to feel a little bit like Christmas outside. Good morning, everyone.
Mm-hmm. That it is.
Morning.
Morning, good people. How's everybody, man?
I put peppermint mocha in my coffee this morning, so I'm doing splendidly.
Nice. I know. I'm wearing a beanie because I'm hot. I'm cold.
There you go.
And I guess Robert agreed today. He was pretty cold too.
Not enough to get me out of the Crocs, though. Still rocking the Crocs, no socks. But
welcome back.
I appreciate it. Good to be back. I did take the closer door today. I was not walking up our little maze to the upper deck. Had to take it through the balcony today.
The upper deck.
The upper deck.
The upper room.
That's what apparently when I was a kid, like going to church, I would call the balcony area the upper deck. I was like, can we sit in the upper deck today for church? My parents were like,
That's great.
What are you talking about? Like, we're not selling 300 level tickets. Like, what's going? Like, that's how many Tennessee games I was just like, can we sit in the upper deck?
That's great.
Idiot.
You know what's the thing about the upper deck, though, too? At Miami Stadium, like the way they have it situated is not super high.
Yeah.
I think that should be the mode, and I think that's what the new stadium will be here, too.
Right.
You shouldn't be up there with the good Lord during games. You know
like
what I'm saying?
The Saints stadium?
Yeah, yeah.
You're up there.
And of course, I think the perspective is, man, y'all better do something to keep people in stadiums, of course, because TVs is trying to do their thing. But I noticed that about Miami's stadium. I was just like, it's not a real bad seat anywhere, even at their upper level. So for the people, and the only reason I bring it up because my grandfather sat at the old LP Field Stadium. Was it LP Field?
LP Field.
Okay.
That's right.
And my rookie year, and he told me, grandson, I was up there with the good Lord, okay? I felt every inch of suns. And so because of that, I'll never put anybody up at the third level again.
Hey, do what you got to do. Just be in the building.
Yeah.
Most of these stadiums now don't have bad seats in them. Might as well.
Well, now they don't.
You remember the old Georgia Dome?
Georgia? Nah, not necessarily.
Unfortunately, I do.
So
Hell on earth.
I watched a Falcon Saints game in that one, and I'm talking
Why?
because when Travis and I lived in Montana, I covered Mark Mariani and a couple guys who got drafted, and one got drafted to the Atlanta Falcons. So he got us tickets for Saints Falcons back when it was actually a fun rivalry, and there was not a seat left in the house. So we literally were at the very, very top of that Georgia Dome.
Wow.
And it was
God.
literally, I think you could get a nosebleed if you had nosebleeds.
Yeah. It was one of those type of
It was
moments.
crazy, but it was a good game. So
Yeah.
I hate the Georgia Dome.
yeah, it was gross.
Well, no, just because Tennessee always lost there. I have no opinion about the stadium
I
itself.
did play in
It's
the old
gross.
Georgia Dome. Absolutely. Yeah, I did. I hadn't played in the
You
new
played
Mercedes.
Who'd you
one.
play
Mercedes-Benz.
there? You played. Were you in the Maryland Peach Bowl?
I
No,
played the
that was
SEC
before your
championship
day.
game there, too.
Of course.
Yeah, LSU.
Yeah, you were not in either of the Peach Bowls.
Dude, the Peach Bowl is a bowl game I wanted so bad.
Really?
You
Really?
want
Back then, nobody.
Oh.
Well, I mean, back then it wasn't as prestigious. It was like if you went 7-5, you went to the Peach Bowl.
it was Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Is it still that? No,
Well, now
different
it's back
now.
to it was the Chick-fil-A Bowl. It wasn't the Peach Bowl at all.
Well, that one I thought was probably one of the better ones because the gifts was amazing at the time.
It was
probably
below.
won.
Well, no. But it was like back then there was a pecking order, and it was below the pecking order of Outback and Capital One Bowl,
You know,
which also
we're-
doesn't exist anymore.
Dang.
So the gifts were better.
The gifts were really
That's what matters to
good.
the players. And
Yeah,
I-
oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And
For-
then
of
it
course
was
it does.
Atlanta. And a lot of the players that I played with was from
Yeah.
that Georgia area or South Carolina.
Right.
If you were from Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina, or Georgia, like
Yeah.
you wanted to go to Atlanta for a bowl game. You
What
just
were the
did.
gifts? Do you ever remember? Like
I think
what
they was giving PlayStations.
Okay.
If you were giving away a gaming system, oh,
you were on. You were on the
Oh.
list.
There ain't no opting out of those games. was there?
no.
No, right?
The PSPs. I remember when they gave out that we got PSPs, the pocket PlayStations.
Mm.
We got the thin PlayStations one time. Y'all remember the Zooms? You know, you were way too.
What's the Zoom?
It was the competition to the iPod.
Okay. Yeah.
It was a Microsoft version of
Yep.
it. I think it was Zoom. Bert, you remember Zoom?
Over my head.
Watered down a little bit.
Yeah, it was like a block, and it was back then though. Everything was only the amount of memory you had on it, and that one I think gave like 28 like gigs or something.
Mm-hmm.
It was Apple's competition to the iPod, and we had one. I ain't got a clue where that thing. We got iPod Minis one time.
I
It was
love the
called a
movies.
Zune.
Zoom.
Oh, it's
Zune.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like a rectangle block, right?
Yeah.
You know, Tennessee's last win in the Georgia Dome was 98.
God dang.
Wow.
Like that is how much we hate the Georgia Dome. Because you had the 0-1 loss to Matty Mock and LSU
Matty Mock.
that would have sent you to the national championship game and created Nick Saban into what he is today.
Yeah.
Still really stubborn about that. You had all of the Peach Bowl losses to Clemson, to Maryland, and to Virginia Tech when Kiffin was there. Then you had the 07 game that I'm not going to talk too much about. Is
Tyson, man, oh my God.
Not great.
Yes. That was one.
and then you had Tennessee basketball losing in the SEC tournament when Pat Adams gave Jerron Mayman 2 fouls in 30 seconds. And he gave him a foul call, and then Jerron Mayman looked at him funny, didn't say a word, and then he got a second one for looking at him the wrong way with like 7.5 minutes left in the game. I was at that one, actually. I think that was 2013. When Florida was undefeated in SEC play. And just undefeated in general. It's fine. I'm not bitter. It's Christmas
No,
season.
Not at all.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.
And guess
by the way,
what?
the Georgia Dome is dust now.
I said
so
they
who got
knocked
the
it
last
down.
round?
And have a happy new year.
Yeah.
Look at y'all
Would
celebrating.
have gotten away with it, too, if it wasn't for you and your meddling dome.
Celebrating a friggin' demolition out.
Yeah. Good thing they did
I
that.
hate that place. So it's over now. But
Did you guys used to? I guess you're past the statute of limitations on this now. Did you guys used to sell your bowl gifts? Because at ECU, I had so many Beef O'Brady Bowl jumpers that anybody that I saw that was around my side, I was like, hey man, I know you don't give a rip about wearing that jumper. Let me get the jumper. Let me get those Beats headphones. And oh, by the way, teams like ECU or lower teams did not get PSPs. They got like $50 Best Buy gift cards that were quickly exchanged for $40 as quickly as you could find somebody to give you the cash for them. I got so many Best Buy gift cards. I got so many Beef O'Brady Bowl jumpers. I got it all. Anybody want some old ECU from 2013 merch, you holler at me.
There we go.
Well,
Nice
boy,
Christmas
I heard
gift.
trading gift cards like it's food stamps or something.
I'm telling you, look, if you would like monetary exchange, let me know. I'll give you $40 for that $50 gift card.
Goodness.
Tennessee did win in 2012, by the way, in the Georgia Dome, but it was against NC State in the Chick-fil-A kickoff on a Friday for a team that then went 5-7. So it did not register. I was calling a high school football game that night because that was a Friday night college football game. Anyway, this has been more useless knowledge. You never needed in your life, but now have. I tell that to my girlfriend all the time. You never needed any of this knowledge, but you have it now.
You're right.
Bert, I didn't sell a whole lot because I ain't have a whole lot, so I kept as much as I possibly could. Like, that was my thing. It's like, I'm keeping everything. Or I gave it away as gifts. Like, my granddad got a ring. Some folks got a watch.
I like that plan.
The watch is the dumbest gift to give.
Why?
Because who's walking around with a commemorative
Oh, because it has all the stuff on it.
I would.
bowl game?
That was a revenue sport.
Oh my God!
Well, your grandpa liked it, didn't he?
No, I ain't disrespect my granddad and give him the watch. I gave him the ring. He got the SEC ring.
Okay.
Oh my God!
The SEC championship gifts for us weren't that bad because the equivalent of bowl game gifts for non-revenue athletes are SEC gifts. So you also get a gift if you make the SEC championship, which in sports like ours, everyone makes the SEC championship. So it would be like an Apple TV, like Beats headphones, like when the Dr. Dre Beats were starting to be really big. There was like a little Panasonic TV I think you could get.
I love that
cool.
gift right now.
Wasn't that bad. 615-737-1045. We're going to somehow give you top 7 and bottom 3 in the NFL coming up in just a few minutes. Also get into the big news yesterday about Will Levis's injury and what it could mean for the Titans quarterback position for these final few games. We'll get into that here in hour number 1. You're not that guy at 7:20 this morning. VolQuest's Austin Price hits the transfer portal headlines, and there are many of them for Tennessee right now with us at 8:20. And 3HL's Ron Slade joins us in hour number 4, as always, at 9:20 to talk about whatever Ron wants to talk about. 615-737-1045. We'll hit the Titans headlines, ranked the best and worst in the NFL. Coming up next. Hey, it's Will Bowling. If you're a business owner or facility manager, you have a lot on your plate and a lot to keep up with. That can include assessing your equipment and systems, evaluating indoor air quality, outlining new cleaning procedures, or even reviewing options for touchless plumbing and electrical fixtures. Well, that's a lot, but Lee Company, they can help you with it all because they have been in the facility management and maintenance business for decades. Put their professional expertise to work for you today. Whether it's HVAC, electrical, and plumbing, they do it all. So call them 615-567-1000 or contact them online at leecompany.com. Again, that's HVAC, electrical, and plumbing for facility managers, business owners, homeowners, anything in between. They're going to take care of it for you. 615-567-1000. That's the number to call or contact them online at leecompany.com. That's Lee Company, all you need. Tuesday morning on RKW, and it is brewed by 8th and Rose. 615-737-1045, our number if you want to jump in. 8th and Rose Coffee cultivates community by the cup. You can find your favorite retail bag at every local Kroger and Whole Foods here in Middle Tennessee as well. It feels good to have some Christmas music mixed in starting today.
I like it.
I don't
It's
so.
23 degrees. It feels like Christmas outside. And that'll motivate me to do all my shopping today. That'll be great.
Ooh, are you guys all done besides Will?
I'm done. Think we're
Okay.
done. Yeah,
Yes.
we're done. I
Bird,
got to
are
send
you
some
done?
stuff off.
I'm going to plead the fifth. I'm
Okay.
done with all the people that count. It's all my like
There you
Okay.
go.
adjacent
Fringe.
family.
Yeah,
it's like,
sure.
I got to get something for that kid. You know, I got to get something
know.
for my aunt. You know, what do you get your aunt?
Nothing.
A scarf. You know, depends what she got me. Right. I keep a ledger. You know how families do that with a wedding now? They always keep like a
Yep.
spreadsheet. What did you give them so they'll know what to give you? One, I hate that. I hate that so much. You should give somebody what you want to give them, not so they'll give you a good gift. But I do that with all my relatives. What did you get me last year? All right, you got me socks? Socks are coming back at you. In fact, the same pack. I didn't even open them.
Oh no.
It all depends. Your auntie, it depends on if she made the macaroni right. I'm just going to throw that out there right there. Okay? Did she make the macaroni right?
Well, my aunt's
He-
name is Donna, so she did not.
Wait, why does Donna? What does that mean?
Donna ain't got no flair. Donna ain't got. Donna ain't
Okay.
even know what papaprika tastes like. Donna don't even know
Damn,
that's ground up bell pepper.
Damn,
Donna's in there using
Donna.
salt and
Hey,
pepper. That's
If you,
it.
Bland Donna?
if you ain't sneezing, it ain't season.
Right? Good Lord.
I'm putting Will in my bottom
Have you ever
three.
heard that before? What? Oh
No,
my gosh!
I have
yeah.
not heard
if you
that.
ain't sneezing, it ain't season.
Ah,
good.
That's funny.
When you
That's good.
when you put seasoning down on chicken or steak or something, if you're not sneezing a little
It
bit,
ain't
then you haven't
It's
seasoned
not
enough.
seasoned.
Well, that's the
That's-
reason for
That's
the
a good
season.
rule of thumb
There's
to
a
live
trick.
by.
You want to know why that's hilarious? Because I was making gumbo last weekend, and I'm putting the Cajun seasoning in. I'm like,
Were you really?
It was seasoned.
Yeah. You ain't-
There you go.
It's the holiday season. What are you thinking about?
Get the hell out of here, Will.
Take an early day off if you want.
Who brought him from Flavortown, Kayla?
You need to make one of those, those cheesy signs
You're
that
not that
have
Guy
like all
Fieri.
those sayings. They need to make one for that.
We do need
the
a
kitchen.
signboard. Oh my God. Yes, if you ain't sneezing, it ain't. You might have just gave it away, Will.
That might be do it.
It's
It's
gonna
gonna
be
Might
be
be
Marshalls
doing
and
it.
TJ Maxx about to have a new
I
sign.
No. Right?
The one is
At the
Coming
front.
soon to Claire's for the
Yeah.
low, low price of $8.99 plus shipping and handling.
Oh, goodness.
the one that always
Great.
pops out. Was it Bless This Family, Lord?
Oh,
Have you
yeah.
that one? Or the funniest one is what is it? Skinny women can't cook or something
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. There's always something like that, guy. If you ain't sneezing, it ain't season.
All the classics are like "Bless this mess"
Ble-
or we use wine in this kitchen and
Yes, that's a
sometimes
good
to
one.
cook. Like that's always the sassy moms. the moms that are like,
That's Donna.
As long as you kids
Donna.
are staying, as long as you kids are staying here, give me your keys and I'll let you have a glass of red.
Oh my goodness.
Donna, where's the wine at then, girl?
Or like the welcome mat that's like, you look good from down here. Like it's just, those are awful.
Don't forget to kiss the chef.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
615-737-1045, our number. Wonder what Will Levis has in his kitchen because he might be in it a little bit more if he's not playing these last three games.
Oh me, oh my, yeah.
Yeah,
he
what
gonna be,
is his?
He gonna be looking to cook. Is that what we're saying for him? Or Tannehill's looking to cook?
Maybe.
Malik?
Malik, yeah.
Will Levis, high ankle sprain, according to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. Mike Vrabel, speaking to the media yesterday, says it is similar to Ryan Tannehill's injury. If that's the case, then Will Levis will see you in 2024
Facts.
and not the January 2024, like the September 2024.
Give him the Joe Burrow treatment. They shut him down. Well, Joe Burrow had an injury. This one right here is, all right, you understand what it takes. Now we'll reset next year. That's what you're looking for out of him, man. He got a good, how many games? Seven started games? Eight started games? Yes.
Yeah.
That's a real good base foundation going into next year. And expecting a lot of changes.
8 starts.
8 starts, yeah. He's laid down enough traction, I think, to kind of propel him into 24.
Yeah, when you have a high ankle sprain, I think we've seen enough of them here in Tennessee to kind of not diagnose, but guess what the outcome will be. And I just don't think you risk. He was already dealing with the ankle stuff, and now it's a high ankle sprain. To me, like, you don't touch that in terms of putting him back out there and risk getting him hurt. Also, guys, he's not going to stop being Will Levis if he is out there. So he could even get himself hurt in a situation because he's still kind of learning how to tone that down a little bit. So, yeah, I say just keep him out and make this either about Ryan Tannehill or Malik Willis, I guess, moving forward.
I'm fascinated to see what Tannehill gets himself into next year.
Me too.
I am. Whether it be retirement or whether, heck, he pulls a friggin' Joe Flacco.
I think he might.
That's where I'm at. I don't know what this quarterback market is going to look like for him, but he going to have a home somewhere for sure.
Who should get the start Sunday against Seattle if it's not Will Levis?
Tannehill.
Yeah.
Really? You think he's going to agree to that?
And that was the question. Yeah. I don't know how that goes. How does that go? He can just say no? Like, I'm not doing it.
Whoever you're throwing out there, it almost feels like you're dangling meat over the lines then
Sure.
anyway.
I'm going Malik Willis without
Malik?
a shadow of a doubt. Give me some trade value.
Some trade value. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's the purpose behind that then.
But
if
how
everything,
much can he show?
I mean, Matt Flynn earned an entire starting job off of one game, off of a couple games. Like, it's Joshua Dobbs earned an opportunity off of the last 3 games of the season. I mean, why can't Malik Willis?
I know, and I'm with you.
And he's younger. Someone's going to always take a chance on a quarterback that shows just 5 minutes of promise. Always.
I got no problem whatsoever with it. I'd love to see what he looks like now with more time in his professional career. I also look at it as just like, what do you get out of it? I think him and Tannehill could both be gone next year too.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Ryan Tannehill was warming up when Will Levis went out of the game.
He was.
On Sunday. And I'm not going to base my opinion on that. But I just think with Malik Willis, you've kind of seen what Malik Willis is here. And I understand the trade value stuff. And he could get himself something, a contract in 3 games. But there's just little to nothing out there in terms of what you're working with, right?
Yeah.
And I don't really think he's built a lot of chemistry with any of the weapons you do have. I just think it would probably be a tough watch for 3 games, and I don't know if it'd be great for him.
It's going to be a tough watch either way.
Yeah.
With this offensive line.
It just feels dirty this time.
It does, yeah. Can you go find someone?
The best way to honor Ryan Tannehill's service to this franchise is by not putting him behind this line for the last 3 games of the season. And it's not about honoring a player, right? The NFL doesn't care about honoring you unless you are just a Ray Lewis level legend, one place, things like that. But and even still, it is a business, and stars have to align to do that the right way. But there is no reason to go back to Ryan Tannehill to me. Done.
Malik wins. What does you get behind him? Yeah.
Well, is it out that he's their backup next year either? Maybe they put him out there and continue to try to diagnose if he's the backup next year. I don't know what they're going to do behind Will Levis. I really don't, guys. I feel like they're still going to maybe give an opportunity to Malik to be the backup. If that's the case, I maybe think they do give him the reins to the next 3 games.
You know how we bring it full circle? Bring back Dobbs.
I know, right?
Well, I think they would go get somebody older who can be a locker room benefit to Will Levis.
Well, that's the point.
Who's the equivalent of Blaine Gabbert out there now?
Well, let me say this. I think now what Dobbs did in Minnesota, that's what you're getting out of him moving forward.
And you have the money to actually pay a little bit of cash for a backup quarterback next year.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great locker room guy.
Yeah,
this ain't me overselling this. No.
Josh Dobbs.
Just Josh. As far as I think we realizing with others, you got to go get a veteran guy. They can at least get you through about 2 games. And that's where he fits now. Just being real with you. And it's so many other different quarterbacks. Mr. Trubisky's going to be up. Mason Rudolph's going to be up. Heck, Kenny Pickett might actually be up. No, never mind. Let me stop.
Wait, you have no quarterback.
Speaking of not that guy.
I'm just throwing it out there, Kayla, okay?
Yeah.
I'm on that one. But there's going to be guys that you're going to have to get. And I think a veteran behind Will Levis, honestly, trying to pull his chain every once in a while, it's going to be good. And not Tannehill type of guy. Like, it's going to have to be somebody that you're just like, okay, yeah, he's a mentor now.
We go rapid fire through our top 7 and bottom 3 this morning, and I will just say after the top 2 teams in the NFL, to me, there is like a Marianas Trench level gap between Baltimore and San Francisco and then everyone else. So no clue. But let's start quickly with number 30.
Number 30, Washington.
All right.
I flipped between them, and I'm going with Arizona, but it's close.
New York Jets for me at 30. Robert?
I've got the Chargers here.
Okay.
Ooh,
I thought about that.
good one.
I thought about that. 31.
New England.
New
Yep.
England.
New England
Agreed.
for me as well. And the Carolina Panthers, 32.
Yeah, I don't care if you
Carolina.
won. They won that in the low downest way. I think that is the biggest,
Yeah.
like super Weenie Hut Jr. way to win a game. I get it. You had to win a game, but also, yeah, I'm giving you no points for that.
Can we
Pathetic.
boo them collectively?
Yeah,
1,
sure.
2, 3.
Boo.
Boo! There we go. Yeah. We should have booed a lot of people on Monday, too, Bert. You missed out.
Yeah.
So if an
we
NFL team
should've.
wins in a forest and no one sees it, does it really count?
It does not.
That's not-
If they don't have a first round pick,
Yeah,
does it-
exactly.
does
Chris
anyone-
Throw 'em to the
If
wolves.
Collinsworth don't roll out with them,
Yeah.
no,
Here's a
absolutely
guy.
not.
Let's go number 7.
Buffalo.
Okay.
Buffalo. Yeah, simply put, too much to explain.
You know, and that's a good one. Maybe I missed out on that one. Let me give them a couple more games to see
That's
what
fair.
they are, but I'll put those Brownies there. What Joe Flacco? What is he doing? Is he revived? Did he just take
I don't think he
a
ever left.
year vacation and then just come back with a
Is he elite?
vengeance?
He's what Aaron Rodgers thought he was.
I hate
Exactly.
I absolutely hate these quarterbacks. They just sit around twirling their fingers. And Philip Rivers, now Joe Flacco, and now everybody else. Oh, I hate these dudes.
Kyle Shanahan should have been calling Joe Flacco for his hypothetical emergency Super Bowl quarterback
Facts.
last year instead of Phil and all his
Yep.
kids.
That's very true.
You
Bonus
grow the
18.
fan base a little bit more, though, with Rivers.
Plus 10.
He's got 18 kids now or something.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Miami at 7.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
Robert?
I've got the Bills at 7 as well.
Number 6.
Kansas City.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Yeah,
It's
Kansas
far back.
City. 3. They're in a row. Teams in front of them have actually justified it.
Okay.
You guys are not going to like
no.
mine.
That's actually supposed to be Miami. I'm tripping. That's
Oh, it's
Miami.
Miami?
What did I
Yes.
say?
That's Miami. I got KC higher than that. My
Okay.
bad. Yeah.
Okay, I'm
Miami.
actually I'm going with Detroit at 6. I like what they did this last weekend. They needed that. They had kind of been kind of stalling a little bit, so I liked that win. Yeah, I'll keep them at 6 this week.
Detroit 6 as well.
Okay.
I got the Eagles here.
Ooh.
Something is not right.
Yeah.
Something is not right.
3 in a row.
And dude, when you talk about looking at that defense, man, the defense played fine. Like if you hold somebody to 20 points, you should be able to win the game. Something is not right with that offense, and they've got enough people in that offense that if things aren't going right, they might squeaky wheel. I don't know, something worth watching. But I got the Eagles at 6.
Number 5.
I'm a 5. Dallas by default.
Okay.
They got smacked around with the number 1 in NFC East. I put them at that position because Philly is out of my top 7 right now.
Oh, wow.
Well, and
Okay.
I don't
That's
disagree.
3 straight losses, though.
Yeah. I've got Philly at 5, and I should have probably moved him down further. I'm with Robert. Something is off, and it's not and I know the Niners went through that 3-game skid, but that just felt different. They had some injuries, and I know Philadelphia has been a little banged up, but there seems to be a little bit going on behind the scenes. I'm not going to jump to conclusions, but that might be a thing going on back there. So, yeah, that was a bad – I know it's in Seattle. I know it's hostile up there, guys, but they're the better team. They should have won that game.
It's Drew Lock, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I'll go Kansas City 5.
Okay.
I got the Cowboys at 5. Even the best lawnmowers backfire sometimes.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, they do.
Especially in Buffalo, too.
Sure.
All right, number 4.
Kansas City. Kansas City for me.
Cowboys for me.
I will go Philadelphia at 4. Had them at 3 if they'd won last night, and so I'll just dock them 1 point.
That's fair.
I got the Chiefs at 4, but I like the fire that Mahomes is showing on the sideline. Maybe he's going to be forced to lead now, force people to listen to what he's going to say rather than be a silent passerby.
Yeah.
Who knows if that's what they need, but they need something. I've got the Chiefs at 4.
Number 3.
Detroit.
Okay.
All right.
At them.
Kansas
Number
City
3.
for me.
I'll go Dallas. I was tempted to do something stupid and put Cowboys on the road at 7 and then Cowboys at home at 3 because I don't think there are
Yeah.
7 teams that deserve being in the top 7. Cowboys at home are probably number 1, or at least close to it. Not number 1 really, because San
yeah, they
Francisco
are.
Yeah.
embarrassed them. But I'll still put them 3rd. I just think a primetime game in Buffalo is the hardest thing to do in the National Football League. So I'll give them a little bit of grace.
It's
for
like
that.
you got the Cowboys at home. like the Dr. Pepper that
Yeah.
always Will talks about
Dr.
at
Cowboy.
home.
Number 2?
Baltimore. Lamar was a friggin'
Sorry, Bert.
magician, man. He was the way he maneuvered the pocket. I was just like, this is dangerous.
I skipped Bert's number 3. That's all.
Oh, you did?
Oh, it's cool. I've got the Dolphins at 3 really quickly. I think them in Detroit are the Spider-Man meme. I think they both have fraud in their blood, but it doesn't always come through. You know what I mean? Sometimes they get blank, sometimes they don't. But I'll take Miami's offensive prowess over that. But to Baltimore, while we're discussing Baltimore, I will not get desensitized to Lamar doing crazy things. We cannot just be like, he just does that.
Mm-hmm.
No, he just doesn't do that.
Back on his bull crap.
We have to appreciate, or maybe you guys don't, but I do. I have to appreciate when he pulls some Lamarvelous stuff out of his
Ooh,
rabbit
I
hat.
like that.
That was
Lamarvelous?
good. Hey, he crushed
Put
it
a
on
t-shirt.
Sunday Night Ball. That was fascinating to watch him do work like that. I ain't seen him move like that since like his rookie year. I feel like his second year. That was some good stuff.
A
on
man
Sunday
who
night.
negotiated his own contract.
Facts.
Respect.
Big time.
You guys know I'm a huge fan of Josina Anderson. Josina over the weekend put out a tweet.
I
It's
didn't
like,
know that.
Oh, you didn't know that? I love her vague tweets. I love her the mystery and shadow that shroud all of her informational based tweets and why
Sure.
she doesn't just get to the point. But over the weekend she tweeted there are a lot of teams that were out on Lamar Jackson that probably should have been in on them, i.e. the Atlanta Falcons, i.e. anybody in the NFC who's middling in that 7-7 cesspool trying to get in the playoffs. But Josina always comes with receipts.
And she wore a pink top hat
I could see her
to the
from
game
across
the other day.
the field.
Who was she? Big Mama at church?
She looks like
Terrible.
Cam Newton's tag team partner.
She looked like a
Oh,
character out of that
gosh.
Fox show Power.
I've
Yeah.
never seen that.
Oh, Powers on Stars.
She looked like an episode of the what's it called? The Fox show about the
Empire.
rapper.
Empire. Yeah.
Doesn't
I
Willy
can see
Wonka have like a purple one?
Yes, I take Willow
Top
Wonka
hat?
too.
Darkwing Duck.
Yes.
The pink
Yes.
one.
I used to love that cartoon.
We're the Riddler.
There you
The
go.
Riddler was a woman. The Ridlette.
Ridlette.
So I assume we're all Baltimore 2, San Francisco 1.
Correct.
San
Yes,
Francisco.
correcto.
How strong? Last time I said how strong they get, they dropped 3 in a row. So that's a
Who?
fun team to watch.
Yeah, talk
San
about the
Francisco.
49ers then.
Niners,
Don't talk
yeah.
about the Ravens.
Dude,
If they are healthy, like they're just not.
Ain't nothing you can do.
Brock Purdy's the MVP favorite now.
Well, and I think Christian McCaffrey should get some love, y'all.
Should.
Like he is
Oh, yeah.
balling. Like he's not going to. I know
One
that.
word. I was gonna say 1 word or 2 word. Running back. Yeah.
Yep.
Honest question for you guys is the game on December 21st, on Christmas,
Oh,
game of the year,
yes.
Ravens 49ers. Is that
It's going to be incredible.
I hate that we're getting it. Well, it's not guaranteed we'll see Baltimore in the Super Bowl. So.
That's true.
Because my family does not
Your dog.
permit any. Well, no, I mean that's going to be the Super Bowl though because the
should.
colors set that a year ago.
I saw that.
So for 3
right.
straight years now, the colors of the 2 teams in the Super Bowl have been the Super Bowl logo colors.
What?
Going back to LA, it was blue and orange, Rams and Bengals. Last year it was green and red in Phoenix. So it was Eagles and Chiefs, and this year it's purple and red. I'm not kidding.
What? That is weird.
Yeah. If you're not, we've talked about this.
I don't remember that
Well,
conversation.
you think we be listening to you? We don't be listening to you.
If you literally, so all right, Super Bowl logo color conspiracy. I'm gonna take you through the specifics of
goodness.
this coming up next. Tuesday morning rolls on at RKW, brewed by 8th and Roast. Coming up in 15 minutes, we'll hear what Mike Vrabel had to say about Will Levis's ankle injury yesterday. 615-737-1045 is the number if you want to jump in. And Drew Lock has won an NFL football game. How about that? 92-yard game-winning drive for Seattle. The second game-winning touchdown drive of 90-plus yards in the last 2 minutes of a game by Seattle in the Pete Carroll era. That's since 2010.
And he is undefeated versus the Philadelphia Eagles.
Get out of here.
What,
Pete
2-0?
Carroll.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Drew Lock.
Yeah. No,
Makes
not
no
Drew
sense.
Lock, but good for Drew Lock. He's 1-0 maybe. No, that was incredible ending. It was a little bit tough in the middle. Great, I guess, Northwest conditions to play in yesterday, but I would not want to be watching football in that.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, great win for Seattle. Drew Lock was really emotional after the game in his sideline interview. I think just because a lot of people have kind of given him no chance.
He didn't write back.
Right? He did not write back, getting some words from Gino. And that was a weird start to the game. Not even Adam Schefter knew who the heck was starting this game at quarterback.
Yeah.
It was very bizarre. And then you had the interception at the end by Love. That was incredible, too. So, yeah, what I do like, guys, I do like the Seahawks. They are my team. But for the Titans' sake, I kind of like the fact they won this game because you have high emotions like that from upsetting a team like the Eagles. It's a short week.
Yeah.
They're flying to Nashville. I'm just trying to give some hope here on the holiday
Well,
season.
I think most Titans fans now are
Titans
hoping for a
fans.
loss, honestly.
Yeah, and maybe.
I'm not going to advocate for that either way, but
Yeah.
Greatest Drew Lock moment was him sitting on the bench reciting Jeezy the way he did.
Amen.
That's all I got for Drew
Yes.
Lock is me and him have similar music taste, okay? Is when he was going off on the sideline with that passion in Denver. I've been there.
he really put on for his city.
He put on for a city,
For
man.
city.
I'm talking about he put on.
Robert's face was so disgusting.
Robert laid back right. You made Robert
there?
quit.
Is he
He
alive?
just got back.
Coming up tomorrow morning, Rhett Bryan will join us. It'll be a
And
Scout
that's the
Meeting
show.
Wednesday edition of the show.
God,
We're gonna
must be
play,
nice to have that sort of
Christmas music for the rest of the
See ya.
day.
You will hear the crackling sound of a fireplace
Boom.
with Christmas music over the top of it, baby. Will said, if you ain't sneezing, it ain't
the season.
seasoned. All
Maybe
right.
that needs to be my tagline at the end of the show now.
Right?
If you ain't sneezing, it ain't seasoned.
Get you a show with some seasonings in it, man. Seasonings.
That's a good way.
That
We
was
should get a
hilarious.
T-shirt of that, RK-Dub.
I
Get
think
you
it's
a
in
show with seasoning.
It'll be here around this time next August.
Eastbound and Down. It was Danny
Love that
McBride's
show.
sidekick. You got to throw some seasonings. I gotta go watch that again.
I want to rewatch that one.
Seasonings.
So what is wrong with the Eagles?
I couldn't tell you because they got everything you need. What is wrong with the Eagles?
Lane Johnson went down last night. That's not going to help.
It did. His left ankle got rolled up right there. What is wrong with him? I think. Well, I ain't got a clue. That team ain't supposed to go through this. I would try to make up an answer for you, but I ain't got no answer for you because it's really inexplainable. They're changing coaches. Matt Patricia, I was excited to see him lose though last night
I
for some
know.
particular reason, probably because he's a Patriot. But I don't know what their issues are. They're making plays. They're distributing the ball to everybody still. AJ's getting his touches still. Devontae's getting his. They're still doing the tush push.
Goddard's back, right?
I don't know
I mean-
what their problem is. I don't. Other than the fact that maybe they're just losing their last games until the playoff run.
And they've played like a couple difficult teams in terms of, I believe it was the Niners and Cowboys, right? Before Seattle. So they've played some difficult teams. But in my eyes, if you're one of those good teams, if you're one of the best teams right now in football, and Will's mentioned there's not a ton of them, then you need to win at least one of those games. And then you definitely shouldn't be losing to Seattle.
Yeah, Buffalo is the other one they played.
Sorry, Buffalo, excuse me.
Well, both of those two, but
Oh,
they
okay.
played 3 in a row.
Yeah, so that's a pretty tough stretch. But again, you got to at least win one of those, I feel like. And they've lost all of them. Jalen Hurts, I understand he had the flu yesterday and he flew separate and all that stuff, but he did not look good. He threw for 2 interceptions and he's been a little off. I think he might be a little beat up.
I mean, and then the game they got beat down, the 49ers, you can't justify that because they had no offensive turnovers either.
Yeah.
Like, you look at it, you say, well, is it you can't say it's one thing with them.
All right, so go to the Ramon Kayla and Will Twitter at Ramon Kayla Will to see the Super Bowl logo conspiracy.
Okay.
It started in LA. I was right. Bengals and Rams. The top of the logo is orange. The bottom of it is yellow. Last year, it was green on the top with like little red, like canyon silhouettes of like big rocks, and those are Chiefs colors. So it was Eagles Chiefs last year. And then this year, it's like deep purple on the bottom with like the Vegas sign silhouette, and the top of it is like the Vegas sunset, and it's red.
So hypothetically, it still could be a Chiefs Minnesota Vikings
Correct.
Super Bowl.
That's correct.
We are not safe yet.
Yep,
You stupid.
that is correct. I was going there next. Those are the only other teams it could be at this point.
Okay, this is really weird.
I don't think there are any other red teams in the AFC. Bills. Could be the Bills. And Bills and Vikings. So, Nick Mullins, you got to step it up, bud. Got to step it up. Or
All that-
Texans. Houston Texans. I can't say that with a straight
that's
face.
right.
All that matters
Let's
right now.
go, Drew.
All that matters right now.
Ramon, again, we are on an audio medium, and maybe
need y'all to see
5%
it.
of our audience
Let's-
is watching
All
us right
you
now.
need
So,
is me watching Drew
By the
Ramon
Lock.
is watching Drew Lock rap a song on the bench to
Yes.
pump himself
He
up.
has a
this
bad
morning.
haircut right now, too. Ooh.
615-737-1045. We'll hear from Mike Vrabel on what he had to say about Will Levis's ankle injury coming up next.
7:01. What's going on? Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. Monday Night Football last night, Seahawks were able to complete the comeback, beating the Eagles 20-17. 1:52 remained on the clock with Philly up by 4. Drew Lock led a 92-yard game-winning drive, capped off by a 29-yard strike to Jackson Smith and Jigba's fingertips to give the Seahawks the victory. Drew Lock had not started a game in the NFL since 2021. Now the Seahawks headed to Nashville this week on Sunday. To the Titans, some updates on Titans moves. Jeremy Fowler reporting quarterback Will Levis is dealing with a high ankle sprain. Still uncertain whether the Titans will need to sit him and for how long, but the promising rookie campaign faces a health challenge this week. And Tatir Tart, who was put on waivers earlier this week by the Titans, was claimed by the Houston Texans. Tart amassed 21 tackles, 8 tackles for a loss, and 1 sack on the year. Texans weren't the only team to put in a claim for him, as the Browns and the Bengals also tried to nab him. The Titans are going to see Tart again in the Texans' second matchup in Houston on December 31st. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Hour number 2 starts now on a Tuesday morning edition of RKW. We are brewed by 8th and Roast. And coming up in 20 minutes, we'll put our Christmas cheer to the side for a couple of minutes. It is our weekly complaining segment titled You're Not That Guy. We invite your participation at 615-737-1045 for anyone in your life, in your car, maybe someone who lives in your household who has not been that guy over the last week. We've got Ramon Foster.
Trust me, you're not that guy.
Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh behind the glass. I'm Will Bowling. 8:20 this morning, Austin Price of AllQuest will hit the transfer portal headlines with us, and 3HL's Ron Slay will stop by in the fourth and final hour at 9:20. Yesterday, guys, Mike Vrabel talking to the media about Will Levis's ankle injury says it is similar to what Ryan Tannehill had earlier this season, which we know to be a high ankle sprain. He also said the fact that the Titans are not in postseason contention will not be a factor in the decision to play or not to play Will Levis. This was Mike Vrabel yesterday.
I don't think that necessarily weighs into, the decision right now. I want to make sure that, one, that he can protect himself, that he can do his job up to the expectations that we have, and that he, really the most important thing is that any player can protect themselves out there when, during a game. So it's Monday right now. He's sore, obviously, like a lot of guys, and we'll see, how things go.
So there's Mike Vrabel yesterday, not exactly making it sound like Will Levis is going to play again, in saying later that it is a similar mechanism, in his exact words, to Ryan Tannehill's injury.
Yeah, fascinating. The most important thing that Vrabel said, too, and it has to be on him also, is Will protecting himself. What is that going to look like for him as a player? As fiery as he is, he's probably one of those players that should never play with somewhat of an injury, considering, how much worse it can get if he gets hit again or get bent over again. And the professional thing to do, honestly, and when you know a guy is beat up or a little limp, is to try to hit him. Gator roll him if he goes to the ground. That's just the way the game goes. We take away your best asset, and one of the best ways to help you win. Well, guess what? We help ourselves better win, and our win percentage our chances to win the game. So he can't put himself out there no matter how strong he is. I don't know if he has any contract incentives or anything like that. Whatever the case may be, it's not for now, it's for later. He has to get healthy. And considering what he likes to do at times with his legs, he can't afford to go out there right now, as young as he is in his career. You're not in a playoff hunt, and put yourself in harm's way. He's got to know how to protect himself. He's got a lot of those things he's got to learn as a young guy, that in college, they make you feel like, oh, you got it. I still think one of the most flagrant things that he's had happen to him in his career was what was happening at Ole Miss when he played his senior year. Like, that was a bad game. I think they were trying to run him too much. I think he ended up hurting his toe or finger that game. There was a lot.
His toe, yeah.
Yeah, that went wrong that game. But as a pro, we ain't got no time for that no more. Nah, we put that on the back burner. You good. Your job is secured, young fella.
I think that by now you have seen enough of Will Levis and in different game situations too. And some of it's been good and some of it you clearly want to see more from him. And look, would they have loved to have him play 3 more games this season to just get him the reps and even to get the reps with some of the other parts that will be here next year? Because there's a lot of parts that won't be. Yeah, of course they would. But now you're at the point where you're eliminated from the playoffs officially. You have a banged up Will Levis, even more so than he was the prior few games. This is actually a high ankle sprain it's being reported as. You just don't risk it, guys. It's just, I think this is the quarterback. This is their quarterback for the future for right now. So you got to preserve the last 3 games in terms of his health. And then hopefully he's back and ready to go next year. But I just don't see the point of playing Will Levis if he really does have what we're being told is that high ankle sprain.
Would you put Jeffrey Simmons in the same boat?
Yep. Absolutely. I put him in the same boat. Jeff, to me, what we got left right now? It's a rallying cry, of course, to finish and put everybody, pretty much everybody's in an interview process again. Jeff's solid in his. I think the more reps that Harold can get, the better for him. I still think it's good that he's out there. Big Jeff being out there with what I've seen on the sideline, I'm okay with him sitting if he's not 100%. His health going into the offseason is going to be the most important thing that he could have going forward with this team. Those things matter, not going into the offseason injured. Most guys take 2 weeks to a month off anyway, but that's also with like low-level workouts is what he'll be doing, conditioning. Active conditioning is what he'll be doing, man, or active rest is what he'll do it. I'm okay with Jeff sitting the last ones, unless 2024 he want to start off on a good foot by starting the last game.
So there are bonuses as well, right? According to Spot Track, he's got a per game active bonus of $14,700.
Jeff?
Yeah.
Oh,
but not a huge dent. Honestly, I'm saying that to defend your point, honestly.
I am with you too, Ramon. I personally don't think he should play. Jeffrey Simmons, though, the way he thinks, the way he just wants to be out there no matter what, I feel like he's going to try to be out there if he is somewhat healthy. I don't think it's the smartest decision, but Jeffrey is a different type of being. And I feel like he'll do it if he wants to do it.
Yeah, the call is going to be all Hills unless it's Vrabel and Rand say, we're good on that one. But you look at his situation and say, well, unless it's one of those, hey, I'm going to show you guys how we work moving forward, considering some of the people that are out of the building. I know it's not guys that's big roles, but Tierra being out, Money being out, what is the precedent that is being set moving forward? Is everybody's all in. But I'm in between when it comes to Jeffrey Simmons being active or not being active the rest of the way.
615-737-1045 is our number. Let's go back to the phones where Cousin P is in Nashville. What's up, Cousin P?
What's up, P?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Good morning. Good morning.
What's up?
Good morning.
So I have a complaint, and I've had this complaint for a very, very long time. The "you not my guy" is y'all. All of you. Let me tell you why. Every Friday, I have to listen to the song and how happy you all are, the voice of happiness, because it's y'all's Friday. But you know what? It's my Sunday. So I'm sitting there dreading, and I'm just in distress hearing y'all tell me it's Friday and we're going to act like it. But guess what today is, guys?
Friday.
Today is my Friday. So I'm going to act like it. I need to hear my music one time on a Tuesday because it is my Friday. Let's go.
Fair. I used to have that schedule, so I get it.
Hey, there you go. There you go. Hey, I love you guys, man. It's all in jokes.
That's awesome, P.
Thank you, Cousin P.
And I get it. Not everybody has a Friday that's actually a Friday.
Only question I need for P is P grabbing a bottle too?
He probably you should have asked him before. Wait, he's still on? No, he's not on.
I should.
Yeah.
Hey, man. The roads were a little low yesterday afternoon, too.
Yeah?
I think a lot of people are starting to take off, which is good if you're
Sure.
traveling.
Holiday
I'm okay
season?
with that. Holiday
Holiday
season.
Smart. You didn't know what you're going to get for Christmas. You just get it like 6 days before.
Perfect.
Y'all ever been challenged a little bit, too, with a question? It's like, oh, no, I never really did that. I had my oldest ask me, Dad, you ever went skiing? What the hell would I go skiing for?
Oh, goodness.
And of course, at this little new location that he's at his school, I'm just like, well, he was like, well, some of the kids were talking about they were going on ski trips for our holidays. I'm like,
Where?
we're pulling you out of this damn school. We don't
Anywhere.
do ski trips, okay? Yeah.
Where's
it's just
skiing down here?
anywhere. I was just
Well,
like,
Colorado.
you
Oh,
There
they're
is skiing in Indiana.
can probably northeast maybe
There is.
too.
There's skiing in Gatlinburg too.
For real?
Is there
North
skiing
Carolina.
in Gatlinburg?
Over Gatlinburg.
In
Yeah.
North Carolina, there's Sugar and Beach Mountains.
Sugar
which are
Mountain.
like,
For real?
Okay.
5-ish hours away.
Yeah.
And that's real snow?
Yeah, real
Okay.
snow.
Yeah.
They have in the off season you can go there with the fake stuff too.
Okay.
I never went, but I mean Gatlinburg. There was a ski class at Tennessee.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Where for PE in the spring semester you could take skiing, and the final exam is you just go skiing.
There's
Fun.
Nemacolin in Pittsburgh too. That's
Yeah.
really nice. And we went there one like tubing, like
Yeah.
skiing.
Tubing
no.
is fun.
Tubing.
I wanna see on
I'm
I've
never
into
done
that.
it,
I
but-
told him, I was like, man, I probably do skiing. I don't know what it's gonna look like, but I'm into tubing. If y'all want to go tubing as a family, I'm into that one.
A lot less coordination needed to
Yes.
just sit and roll down a hill.
Yeah.
Slam into the wall is all I need.
I'd like to
baby.
see you snowboarding.
Kayla,
just-
you don't want
just
that.
carving.
You don't want that. You don't want that. It's like, oh no, man.
I got to have a little more direction than that. You know what I mean? When I snowboarding I can deal with. Skiing scares me because it's like two swords attached to your legs. But like on tubes or boats or whatever you guys call them, you have no directional power. You're at the will of gravity in the mountain. I can't deal with that. My fat ass does not need to be moving that fast if
See,
I can't bail.
There we go. It's gravity. It's the gravity part of it that gets
I'm telling
me.
you, it gets us.
That's the reason why you slide down the hill, so that makes sense.
That's why
It
we
also
go
keeps us
tubing.
grounded though. So
Right.
See,
You just do the pie when you're in trouble, y'all. You just put the skis in the pie, and then you're good. You're
Wait,
slow.
we're talking about pumpkin pie.
I'd be
No,
in
like
trouble.
a pizza, like a pie.
I will never, ever ski.
If y'all want it, I'll teach y'all.
Nah,
I don't
I'm
have the
cold.
balance for that.
Okay.
I'm cold.
615-737-1045 is the number. Coming up, you're not that guy. Complain about whoever is not that guy or thing in your week. Coming up next. Time to complain with us on RKW, brewed by 8th and Rose, 615-737-1045 for You're Not That Guy. Coming up here in seconds, Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Will Bowling with you. Robert Walsh behind the glass. Robert, you will be glad to know that your guy Reed crushed it last week in your stead.
You know what? That's always good for me because it's like it's a reflection of me. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yep.
Those who can't teach, those who can't do must teach. So I'm glad to know that I could still teach a little bit.
Teach a man how to run a board, he'll eat for a year.
There you go. Love that.
That's not a saying.
It's the buy a man a fish, he'll eat once. Teach a man to fish, he'll eat forever.
Teach a man to
whatever.
work the board,
He
he'll
just
get
made
all
it
my
one.
vacation days.
That's right.
That's
Right.
very true.
Exactly.
Time to complain. 615-737-1045 for You're Not That Guy.
I never said that. I never said that.
615-737-1045. Load up the phone lines to complain about whoever or whatever is irking you in your day-to-day life. I'm going to go first on this one, and I'm going to go to the great application known as Twitter, where Entertainment Tonight sends this tweet out last week. Says, Travis Kelce was noticeably absent from Taylor Swift's 34th birthday celebration in New York City, but for a good reason. A source tells ET that he, quote, remains committed to playing his best and doing his best on and off the field. The team practices are critical, mandatory to attend, and something he takes very seriously. So it's no surprise he stayed in Kansas City ahead of this weekend's game. My complaint is not with Entertainment Tonight. These are enterprising journalists with a capital J serving their audience and doing a good job. My complaint are with sources. Who are sources that have to reveal that practice is mandatory in the NFL? This entire story feels like it could have been an email and definitely could have been solved with a Google search. Whoever Entertainment Tonight's sources are, I'm telling you that you're not that guy.
You're not that guy.
I hate it here. I hate it here.
Breaking. NFL man attends practice.
So bad. It's
Story at
so
11.
bad. But you know it got clicks with everybody who doesn't understand that.
Yeah,
Sure
that's
did.
terrible.
All the Swifties.
That's terrible. You going next, Kayla?
Yeah, I can go. Yeah.
Go ahead. Run that.
So I've been on just rants lately with cars, I guess. I guess that's been a thing. Yes. Last week it was parking in between the lines at this time of the year, especially. Now it has to do with car safety on the interstate, folks. Car safety on the interstate. Got done with the game on Sunday, and usually we're out a little bit later, so there's not much traffic. And you understand, though, when you're on the interstate, you've got to go the speed limit, at least the speed limit. I mean, if you want to go over, that's fine. And if you want to go under, at least get in the right lane. But by no means are you allowed to stop in the middle of the interstate because you don't know where the hell you're going. I understand that there's those parts of the interstate in Nashville that V off, right? And sometimes you might not know exactly how to get over, but you don't stop in the middle of the interstate, folks. And here I am on my merrily way, driving safe, the seatbelt's on. Actually, thank God was going a little bit under the speed limit just because there wasn't a ton of people out and I was digressing from the loss. And I'm driving along and this guy slams on his brakes in the middle of the interstate because he didn't get over properly.
Wow.
And I, very aware driver, slam on my brakes and I had actually some room. So I did not hit him. Unfortunately, the person behind me did not have the instincts to slam on their brakes. That person hit me.
Oh, gosh.
Yes. And so I get kind of flustered because I don't really get into accidents. Like that's like not a thing for me. And so I pull over, and which I don't like to do on the interstate either, you guys.
Yeah.
I think it's dangerous and pitch black, no lights. So I pull over on the interstate, and the woman pulls over behind me. And thank goodness this woman was just lovely. And the first thing I knew why we were going to bond, because she was wearing a Tupac t-shirt. And I looked at her and I said, I freaking love your T-shirt. And she says, sweetie, I am so sorry and I said, you know what? It ain't our fault. It's that dumb you-know-what in front of us who slammed on his damn brakes. And I looked at my bumper and I said, let me get your info. I don't know if we're going to really need it. It wasn't too bad. And she said, you know what? I was on my way to church and I'm so sorry. I said, you don't need to be sorry. I gave her a hug. Aww. We got in our cars. We were on our merry way. So it ended right. But for that stupid dude who stopped in the middle of the interstate and messed up our nights, her way to church and my way back home to get in my bed and go to sleep after a loss, you are not him. You are not that guy.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
That's not fun.
No, it was scary.
Especially on the interstate. It's like,
yeah,
it's not fun.
For people that don't tie down their trash, Kayla, one, I'm glad you're fine. But
yeah.
People that don't tie down their trash when traveling to the doggone landfill, there was a whole bed on the interstate yesterday.
Why don't they do? I don't get that.
It was
either.
it was a box frame of it. I was like, what in the world?
There was a ladder the other day, y'all.
Get it together. Mine will be quick, man. This one's hilarious. Former players of your old team, you cannot afford to tweet out something in a loss to the team that did not sign you back. Devin Bush, Kayla, I'm sorry, I got to go at your Seahawk real quick. Devin Bush tweeted after the Colts game, ha, 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 after the Steelers lost to the Colts. Fair, all fair in sports, right? But you can only do those things if you also back that up in your new place.
Sure.
He's got 7 tackles on the year and a non-starter in Seattle. It's proven why you're not that guy in another destination. So when it comes down to you getting a last laugh, you at least have to be on the field to be actually laughing to contribute to it. So for the purposes of understanding how you go at people after they do you wrong, you must do that when you're on top. You can't laugh from the bottom up, okay? So, Burb, you can quickly just give Devin Bush that you're not that guy.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Do what you want when you're popping. And if you're not popping, you don't get to do what you want.
You can't do those
That's
things.
Bush League.
That's right. You can't do those
Fair enough.
things.
Robert
Guys,
Walsh.
I hate to do this, but I feel like Cheyenne, it's because I spend too much time with her, y'all. I got to stop bringing her to everything I do. Got to stop bringing her to games because she's ruining my street cred. See, let me tell y'all something. I'm a good fan. When I go to games, I go prepared to holler for my team, but I ain't trying to get in a fight with nobody. I ain't trying to push nobody over. I ain't trying to say, ha, your team sucks. I'm trying to have a little healthy discourse. You know what I mean? Like, cheer when my team does good, and when your team does good, I'm going to sit there silently. Let you have your cheer. You can cheer in my face. It don't bother me. Cheyenne is not that person. Cheyenne is the person who... She has no equity in this team. You know what I mean? She wasn't there when Ryan Mallett was having a start. She wasn't there when Joe Flacco was throwing to Kamar Aiken. She wasn't there when Justin Forsett was our leading rusher. She wasn't there in the dog days. So don't come when we're the number 1 seed now and be in the... Okay, let me set the scene for you. It is the first quarter. The Ravens are up 3-0. And the Jaguars shut down the Ravens 3 and out. They get the ball back, and they're all cheering. And Cheyenne goes, scoreboard!
Oh,
Scoreboard!
no. Oh, no.
Scoreboard! And we had a little fun. We went to the tailgate, had a little fun. So I'm like, baby, you got to keep it down. You're going to antagonize them now. Now, if they start coming at you, then I got to be the bad guy. So let's just keep it down a little bit. Let's act like we've been here before. There's plenty of game left. Because if they holler scoreboard at you, if we lose, I'm going to be upset because you reap what you sow, girl. So let's, stop it. I'm going to do what I want. I have fun. Oh, my Lord. The whole game. They Trevor Lawrence fumbles. Scoreboard! These guys in front of us, cool dudes. And another thing, Jacksonville, I know there's a lot of disdain. Very nice fans.
Really?
Not one. I did not have one bad. Did not have one bad interaction with Jacksonville fans. These volunteer firefighters stood in front of us, and through the grace of God, did not decide to tell Cheyenne how dumb she was for saying scoreboard in the first quarter. But
I love it.
I've got
So
to
great.
Tell Cheyenne. We're representing the team, and most of all, you're representing me.
That's awesome.
You're ruining all my
Most
good
of all.
fan credit. So Cheyenne, I ain't taking you to games no more. You're not that
Damn.
guy.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Scoreboard, tackle him. Stop it. If you don't know his name, don't cheer for him. How about that?
You could have thrown her in the pool.
I should have thrown her in the pool because I had to hear how cold it was all night, too. Girl, it's 60. We're going home tomorrow, and it's 30 degrees. You better be ready for the real cold.
You know what? To add to that, Bert, women, ladies, stop
goodness.
putting your men in this situation, man. You guys go to 10, we got to go to 20, and at some point, there's no coming back. You know how many wars and deaths have happened over that instance right there?
I'm telling you.
Oh my God.
Another thing, an adjacent, you're not that guy. I'll never understand fans of other teams coming to games and arguing with the people that are at those games. This has happened to me thrice now. I went to a Bucks game, and there's a Bills fan. Oh, you guys are at the Jags game, a Browns fan. Oh, you split with us this year. You sure Lamar can stay healthy? Brother, your quarterback is not healthy. What are you doing at this game? Hollering at somebody. How are you going to be here talking to me?
Bird says hollering.
You can't even be like, he said, oh, we split this year. Yeah, that means we won, y'all won one. What you hot about, brother? You came down here. You was sitting up in the nosebleeds, came down here to get a good seat of the Ravens winning. I get it. Your team don't get to do it that much.
You're the
Act
Browns.
like you've been there before. His girlfriend the whole time, stop it, let's go. I'm like, yeah, get him to bed. honey.
Yeah,
He
get
needs to be
him
cut
out.
off.
That's worse than Cheyenne was.
I'm telling you. No, she was the good girlfriend.
Right?
She was the good
She was the
girlfriend trying to
good
keep
one.
him quiet.
See, you do need Cheyenne around.
You do, bro.
All right,
She
so what
definitely
is-
keeps it interesting.
What is an acceptable time to then start the scoreboard conversation?
I would
Or
only
is there one?
I would only pull out scoreboard if the fans there had been unruly.
Sure, if you were
and you
provoked.
came back and
Yeah,
won,
that's fair.
then and I would have had to hear scoreboard earlier in the game for me to pull that out sarcastically.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's the only time I'm saying scoreboard. It's just such a weak defense. So many other things you could argue with them about. You know what I mean? So many other things about how their stadium's in a nice state in the middle of nowhere, how it's surrounded by ponds, how it takes 3 hours to get an Uber, how they always choke in big games. Like plenty of other things you could argue
Right.
about. Don't say scoreboard.
So if I was talking to a Jags fan in this situation, I would just tap on the shoulder and be like, hey, when you guys move to London, does your season ticket carry over?
There you go.
Like, do you get to keep it
fair.
when you play in
Ouch.
Europe? Or how does that work?
That's fair. That's
Like you going out with Urban after the game, or is he going to drive? Is he going to meet you there? Like what's kind of the deal there?
You guys have as many catches as Christian Kirk does today.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
You know, hit him with something like that.
Do you have as much money as Calvin Ridley does in this game?
Yeah. Right? They were
I mean,
trying
you
to
got plenty of options.
Well, they were trying to
Plenty of
show like
options.
all the new kind of renderings for that stadium. I'm like, I'll
Yeah.
believe it when I see it.
Yeah. Tough.
We go to the phones where Jack is in Myrtle Beach this morning with You're Not That Guy. What's up, Jack?
Hey, what's happening, guys?
What's going on?
Miss you guys. I've lived in Nashville for 10 years and listened to you about every day. I moved
Nice.
down here to the warmer climes, but got my not that guy is Dana White for aligning himself with that piece of crap Vince McMahon, taking a perfectly viable sport, UFC, and cheapening it by aligning himself with that idiot McMahon who's, I'm sorry, he's just a scourge.
Say it.
So
Say
that-
it. Do it.
That pisses me off.
There it is.
There we go. Get it out. Get it out.
Thank you,
Might as
Jack.
well,
You're not
Jack.
that guy, pal. Trust me.
Jack 'em
You're
up.
not that guy.
Appreciate the call.
I've learned with wrestling fans, MMA like that. Don't mess with what a good thing. Like leave it alone. Like you're right. Vince is gonna throw all the theatrics on it and his storyline and they're gonna make the guys look a certain type of way. No. The MMA, when the Gracie family was in the early 90s, just jiu-jitsu and everything, just chopping bodies up as far as like beating people down in the ring and the octagon. It ain't a ring, it's an octagon. Like that is as pure of MMA as you get. Like I remember like the Gracie family was insanely good. So I'm with you on the MMA stuff. The same way the wrestling got kind of threw on the back burner a little bit years back. I'm just like, no, man. Give me the Degeneration X, okay? I don't care if the kids walking by in the hallways throwing the
yeah.
X sign up. Like, nah, I'm with you on that, man. Leave the sport alone when it's good like that.
Yeah, I couldn't add a single thing to anything about wrestling. I'm going to be honest with you.
MMA? Yeah, no,
I'm not. It's just not really been a thing for me.
that's fair. That's fair.
Let me share one more thing that I just saw on Twitter pop up, and maybe it was meant to be. Jason Fitz, who has actually worked, in the Nashville media, just put out this tweet that he was sitting at the airport and someone farted. Smell might be worse than I've ever encountered before. That is not that person.
That ain't.
That is disgusting
Somebody-
and not a way to start the day in terms of flying all over the country.
You're getting the weekend off of them, that's all. That's all that is. That's getting the weekend off of them, Kayla. That's a whole lot of alcohol and grease.
Good Lord.
That's all that is. That is the worst,
Oof.
though. Those plane crop dusts, I think people do that as a sport now. That's terrible. I absolutely hate that.
Usually you dust crops with a plane.
You
Yeah.
do.
Not on it.
the plane, exactly, man. Pretty tough.
It's so gross.
615-737-1045.
Yeah, that one was pretty bad. Like Cheyenne dogged you out, Bert. That is one of mine.
I would
Don't
love to
cause
see
me
that.
to go rogue with your shenanigans.
Let's go to Harold in Nashville. 615-737-1045. What's up, Harold?
Hey, man, yeah, did my you not that guy goes out to the fella at Cheddar's in Mount Juliet last night trying to holler at my wife right in front of me? You not that guy, son. You not that guy. You're lucky she was there, because otherwise you'd end up black and blue.
So, can we, what specifically was said?
Get him
Harold
in the
hung
ring.
up.
Get him in the ring.
Harold did not want to give any
Harold,
more
look,
details.
I want to apologize.
Wow.
Harold, I was just trying to buy her a drink. I didn't mean to cause any strife.
Thought it was
Hopefully
a
you
sister.
Guys, I honestly, I thought you guys were just wrapping up some Christmas shopping, man. That's my fault. I apologize.
Oh, Lord.
I'm not even allowed back at that
I
Cheddar's,
wanted
man.
more
That's my fault.
specifics.
That's Bert. You
That's
can't
intense.
be doing that. They was having a nice steak dinner.
Only Swiss or American from now on. No more cheddar.
Golly, that's
You're not
cold.
that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
You can't do that.
Speaking of steak dinner, Jeffrey Simmons was at the rookie dinner last
Like
night.
a
Is
real
that
one?
what happens? TK McClendon was buying.
Yeah, probably so. They should look out for him though. It's gonna be expensive,
He looked at the bill and the face was priceless.
but it's gonna be all right. Our rookie dinner was collectively $20,000 altogether.
Oh my!
Crazy. The third rounder paid 12. I paid 6, and the dude that was on practice squad paid 2.
Holy smokes!
Crazy.
It's the one time you'd rather be on practice squad than in the
It was.
actual.
Yeah, exactly, Will.
It's like Mike T. Can I?
Exactly. Can I be
You're
demoted
downgraded.
this weekend?
Golly, I couldn't imagine that. TK McClendon, he gonna have a nice player performance check after this year too. He's got a nice burn.
615-737-1045. There's a trend in college football this year that is great for the sport, and it was showcased yesterday from one big decommitment from Georgia to a Big Ten school. We'll tell you about a trend that I like quite a bit in college football coming up next. There is a trend in college football that yesterday was showcased again that you probably like, unless you are a Georgia fan. It's RKW brewed by 8th and Roast on a Tuesday morning. Austin Price of AllQuest and On 3 coming up in 30 minutes. Dylan Raiola is a 5-star quarterback who yesterday flipped his commitment from Georgia to Nebraska. And with his flip to Nebraska, Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson, there are 18 different schools that have a 5-star commitment, according to On 3. Every year NIL is in existence, this number has gone up. So in the 2023 cycle, there were 15 schools with a 5-star. In 2022, there were 13. In 2019, there were 17 schools with 5 stars. That's the closest it's been over these past few years. But with all 32 5-stars now committed, and most of them signing this week on National Signing Day, Dylan Raiola makes 18 schools with a blue chip prospect. This is good for college football and the power balance in this sport.
I think that's the biggest conversation. It's the power balance. Maybe the SEC takes a hit because of that. Who knows? All I know is I enjoy this because it also it solidifies what I've always thought. The money matters. And as much as they want to say NIL this now, there are some universities that have been playing this game for a very long time, and now you have it above board to where teams can have collectives, and these NILs matter. And you know what? Sometimes you're going to grab a kid out of an urban era or a rural part of America or from a single-parent home or just, you know what? This is my opportunity to cash in. And guess what? If I'm as good as I think I am, Dylan Raiola?
Yeah.
He can go to Nebraska and bring a draw with him the same way that Arch Manning did it, the same way that Quinn Ewers did it, the same way we expect Nico Iamaleava to do it also. These are the things that I enjoy because if it's a quarterback-driven league in the NFL, well, guess what you got to do in college? You got to go get your quarterback. And if you get your quarterback and he proves to be him, now we get better competition. Now everybody can say, hey, it's just Bama, it's just Georgia, it's just LSU or Texas or USC. No, I love it. And it also put the fire to the foot of these coaches that the lies that you were able to tell in years past, guess what? Now you got to put something behind it. You can't just leave now either. Now I can leave. Now if there's a bigger bag, I get it. It's somewhat ruined the mystique of what college football is, the prestige of it sometimes too, the history of it. But y'all coaches have been doing this for a very long time. Good, Will. I love the fact they're spreading it out.
Yeah, so I look at this as an opportunity for some of these former traditional powerhouses even to maybe become relevant again, because we're seeing it with Florida State. And it's unfortunate how it ended for them this season with the quarterback, right? And Jordan Travis and his injury, because I think they're becoming what they used to be. They're on their way. Nebraska has been in the dumps for so long, you guys. And I think it's so hard when you are competing with all these schools now that have tradition, that are powerhouses in Georgia and Alabama and Ohio State. It's hard for these former powerhouses. Even look with USC, didn't get started yet, really. We thought that they would. So to see like some of these other programs being able to get what is big, a quarterback, right? What you're going to kind of have to compete in college football nowadays, to see some program like Nebraska get that, and to say, hey, Matt Rule, we knew you were good when you coached in college before you left for the pros. Maybe this can get him going a little quicker now that he gets a 5-star quarterback and can start to have some momentum around the program. Because once you then see that 5-star quarterback, oh, can we get that receiver maybe to come this way too in the portal? So I like it. It evens it might even things out, which I'm all for. Kind of just mixing it up.
Yeah, some of the teams with 5 stars that you wouldn't expect. Texas Tech.
They got a 5-star?
They do.
Dang.
South Carolina has 2. Auburn has 2 after they flipped a big-time player a few weeks ago. Ohio State leads college football with 4. Georgia with only 2 5-stars. Florida with 2 5-stars committed as well, as Billy Napier puts together a top 10 class in Gainesville. Tennessee's 5 stars, Mike Matthews, the wide receiver who committed over the summer. Vols class ranks 13th right now.
I'll take that.
It's a bit disappointing considering they're coming off an 11-win season on this class to me.
Yeah.
You needed to be top 10 this time around. And we'll talk to Austin about that and see how concerned he is considering some of the moves still yet to be made. But I love the fact that you've got a blue chip quarterback going somewhere else. And you got Carson Beck now coming back to Georgia. And he's going to get the bag in the process as well to go back and try to run it back for a Georgia team that didn't meet its expectations this year.
Man, it's got to be cool if you're one of those types of guys. Somewhat refreshing, though, too. But it's a situation where, if I just ball out, y'all, which is the plan of it all, of what NIL should be, right? I think the front-end money sometimes, okay, that's the reason they changed the pay scale in the NFL. You got to prove that you're worth this stuff. That's why a lot of these 5-stars are also transferring out, too, because they're either not playing to justify the money or they're not as good as they thought they were. But you have a guy like Carson Beck, does what he does this year, and you got a bag coming back, and it's the off season for you. Screw classes. Classes are cool. I go to class if I'm getting about $12,000 a month.
Those class checkers are coming to class to make sure your name's on the sign-up sheet in the athletic department don't have as much power anymore, do they?
If you could see me, I'd be in there. I'm finna put on my Bill Dance Tennessee hat right now. I'd be in the front room like this, Will. Just, yes, sir. Yeah, I'm here. You see me, I'm spirited. Why am I spirited? Because that bag is so heavy. Look at all this cash I got now.
If you even show up.
I mean, at that point, I'll just, never mind. That's too much info.
Well, I mean, now, the way it was when I was there is you have clickers. And when you sign in, all you have to do is sign in on your clicker.
Yeah.
So there would be one person on the team with everybody's clicker. And somebody carrying in like 4 clickers in their backpack. That way you can sign in to say that you're there. Because all you have to do is they'll ask a question of like, what color is the sky? And you select like A for blue. And then B would be like Florida sucks. Like it'd be like something like that where like the teacher would kind of make it funny sometimes. And people would just take your clicker and then say you were there. Because the rule was if you miss class, you miss practice. That was like always the rule at Tennessee, for at least for our sport, under our administrator, Donna Thomas, who's now retired, the GOAT.
Another Donna.
She would always be like, if you miss class, you miss practice. If you miss class again, you come see me when you miss practice.
Oh.
And you didn't want to do that.
That's cold.
Yeah.
615-737-1045. Austin Price coming up at 8:20. We'll reset the headlines, where an old friend is going to be playing the Titans in just a couple of weeks. Tier Tart popping up. Yes, I said that on purpose. Pop-Tart. Anyway, it's fine.
I got it.
You should have laughed.
I did not.
Popping up in the division. We'll dive into that coming up next.
It's Ramon and Kayla here for Window Nation. Just to let you know that, look, officially, winter will be here in a couple days, but you feel it right now, okay? The air is getting colder. Your energy bills are at all-time highs. So now it's time to replace those windows with 0% financing for 5 years and 50% off all style windows, too. So now it's time to protect your family from the elements, lower your energy costs, and upgrade the look and feel of your home.
Yeah, are you feeling that draft when you wake up in the morning? Are your windows leaking? Guess what? That could be bad news, and meaning you probably need new windows from Window Nation. And why not do it now before we hit those January and February months where the temperatures really drop? Look, you can save up to 30% on those energy bills at this time of year by keeping the heat in. And then you're already set for summer, because when you turn the AC on, it keeps that in as well. So go ahead and check out Window Nation. They are one of the leaders in windows. They have installed nearly 2 million of them, 96 perfection, making them one of the top window companies in the entire country, like I said. And you know what? Over 16 years of experience, that's the average installer. So they're going to do it right. So give yourself a holiday gift. Give your home a holiday gift this season. And check out our friends from Window Nation. You can go online to look at more at windownation.com, or you can simply call them at 866-90Nation.
8 o'clock. Good morning. What's going on from the 104.5 The Zone Studios? I'm Robert Walsh. Monday Night Football last night. Seahawks were able to complete the comeback, beating the Eagles 20-17. 1 minute, 52 seconds remained on the clock with Philly up by 4. Drew Lock led a 92-yard game-winning drive, capped off by a 29-yard strike to Jackson Smith and Jigba's fingertips to give the Seahawks the victory. Drew Lock had not started a game in the NFL since 2021 for the Broncos. To some Titans moves, Jeremy Fowler reports quarterback Will Levis dealing with a high ankle sprain. Still uncertain whether the Titans will need to sit him or for how long, but the promising rookie campaign faces a health challenge this week. And Tier Tart, who was put on waivers earlier this week, was claimed by the Houston Texans. Tart has amassed 21 tackles, 8 tackles for a loss, and 1 sack on the year, and gets to see the Titans again in the second Texans matchup in Houston on December 31st. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Hour number 3 starts right now in the second half of your Tuesday morning. It is RKW brewed by 8th and Roast. 615-737-1045 is our number with Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson. Robert Walsh making the show happen. I'm Will Bowling. Streaming live at 1045 The Zone TV. You can watch the show on Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch.
Twitch, please.
Thank you so much.
Slowing. Woo! He beat you
called
to
me
it.
coming out of the. You called me coming out of the locker room at halftime. My bad. My bad. Bert was ready for
back into your
kickoff.
seat.
I wasn't.
Got your drink ready?
Yeah.
Defense was on the field first.
Yep.
Bert was ready.
There you go.
Tough sledding.
Bert back at it.
It is, man. Welcome back, Bert. Like they were cool, man. Reed did his thing.
Cool.
Jacktown did his thing too, man. But
Jacktown.
Action Jackson.
Action Jackson. Well, Bert, there's nothing like you, man. And I'm gonna just leave it right there. Bragging
that.
season's over. You've had enough of that. Get back to the shadows.
I appreciate that, man. I don't know why you're letting you over there working like a draft pick. Where'd that undrafted workout or work ethic come from, man? Come on. What are you over there working like you got drafted in the first round for, man?
Oh, goodness gracious.
You gonna let old UDFA Burt come in here? Don't worry about me. Twitch, please. I'm over here working on my pass
Yeah.
sets.
Ready, man. I need somebody to go in the game. He grabbing anybody helmet to go in. I did see that happen to this weekend.
Yeah.
Jack Gibbons' helmet was off. I think he had to borrow somebody's helmet this weekend, too.
Is that what you do,
I
or they're
noticed that, actually.
backups? Is there not backup?
There's a backup green dot.
There's a backup green dot?
Okay.
I thought, is Aziz the green dot?
I think that's what
Yeah.
happened was
Oh.
that Jack Gibbons had to change his helmet when Aziz went out to become the green dot.
There it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I noticed that too,
Mm-hmm.
of him taking his helmet off and switching it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a germaphobe. I'm not. Like, I can deal with certain stuff. Putting somebody else's helmet on, though, that's always bothered me.
I think that's icky.
Like, it's been times my mouthpiece has dropped to the ground, pick that thing right back on up,
Well,
put it in my
that's
mouth.
fine.
Yeah.
But the thought of sweat and going
Yeah.
in my ears and stuff from somebody else,
Yeah.
oof.
It's weird. It's weird.
One thing that did happen in the Bills and Cowboys game was that Josh Allen's wristband came off in a pile. And he had to go, and he stood up immediately. If you were watching the game, they showed it on the broadcast. He was pointing to his wrist like, I don't have it. It's gone.
Oh.
And so Kyle Allen had to give him his, standing on the sideline, the backup quarterback. Have you ever had that happen where somebody steals a quarterback wristband and the defense thinks they have the plays?
No, that's the thing. They're thinking they got the place.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I've never had that happen, though. Or had even that conversation come up. It's like, they got my wristband.
Because
No.
that's the paranoia behind it, right? Is that
Mm-hmm.
if it gets lost,
Yeah.
then the other team has it. If Tom Brady did it, then I think you're fine.
I think
Yeah.
they're fine. Yeah, that never really came up. I'll tell you what else I saw this weekend, too. At the end of the 70 minutes of the game, we're going through the tunnel, and somehow I ended up going through with the players. We all go at the same time, and the referees go through that pathway, too.
Sure.
You know what I saw?
What?
A fan. who's the head judge this weekend? I don't know who it was. Clete Blakeman. He's running through and can I have your hat? He tossed his hat up to a Titans fan. He did.
No, he didn't.
I've never seen that in my life. Whoever you are, if you listen to us this morning, call in. When did you become a fan of referees?
What is that about?
It's like the Rob Lowe picture of him at the Super Bowl with just the NFL hat on.
Yes.
That's going to be some lucky Titans fan.
It was the white hat, too, which is the primary hat out there. And I was just like, what is
going on?
When did refs become an item? It didn't bother me, but I was like, what the hell is this all about? I didn't know the refs could do that either.
No.
I've seen wristbands from players. I've seen gloves. I've seen people throw their cleats up.
He freaking sign it too?
I've never seen an interaction where he was adamantly yelling at Cleat like, hey, give me your hat. And he tossed it up.
That is so weird.
He was like, you get it? And I was just like, I've never seen that.
Was it like a family member and they wanted to like... Yeah.
This dude was belligerent. Like, he was really
crazy.
out of his mind. I've never heard so many fans just cuss out Titans fans and Titans players this weekend, too.
Really? That's
Titans fans?
awful.
Titans players, I mean.
Wait, cuss them out?
Oh, my. Oh,
So, all right, well, hold on.
Louise.
Titans fans cussing out Titans players?
Yeah.
Okay.
It got filthy.
Oh,
no, it got filthy. That tunnel that they walked back into, you pieces of, I'm never in you. Oh, my Lord. Vrabel name was, his mama don't need to be there, okay, for what they called him. It was some wild stuff. And in the mix of all of that, somebody was begging for the referee's top hat.
Exactly. They'd rather have that than treat the players.
Somebody's got it.
Nicely.
How old was this person?
This dude probably mid-30s.
That's ridiculous.
He might have been older than me, probably.
I think it's great.
Lower 40s.
That is
No lie.
ridiculous.
I love it.
Maybe
No
he's
lie.
collecting
Creative.
from every single person on the field.
First
That's
time
like gold.
I've ever seen, between all the cursing and slurs that was thrown out towards the Titans players, there was a referee gaining the fan. Never
That's
seen that a day in my
insane.
life, man.
A crew that had a rough day, too, by the way.
They did
Yeah.
have a rough day. They did.
What crew doesn't nowadays?
The pass interference on Trey Avery on the Texans touchdown drive,
Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah, that's some nasty work right there.
it's about as bad as it gets.
Yeah, it was.
I wonder if anybody ever asked for Jerome Boger's hat.
I am now moving forward.
Asked for his retirement.
That happened.
I'm
didn't
asking
happen.
for. I might have to ask one of the referees. We exchanged some formalities too.
You and Clee?
Yeah, just hey, he recognized me for a second.
goodness.
Yeah,
That is
Nice.
insane.
very fascinating.
You had a friendly sideline reporter with you, too, and Aditi.
Aditi was there,
Yeah.
absolutely.
She's so teeny,
yeah.
so I know she didn't get in your way.
No, she didn't. She the homie. She was cool.
Yeah.
I stepped on the TV cords too on purpose. I did.
You did.
I did. I had
You
to.
rebel.
They're just so intrusive. They just walk in front of you with the big bulky cameras, and I'm like, man, come on, you see them right here.
We have confirmation of your story, by the way.
You do?
On
Really?
Twitter, Jabbar writes in, says, I sit in the same section. I won't out you and say what section you're in publicly here, Jabbar, but says, I sit in this section, names the section, every home game, and same thing happened. Colts home game. Head ref came over and gave someone near the front his hat. First time I've ever seen that. So this apparently is not the first time it's happened.
I've never seen it happen before.
Broderick in the F&M Bank chat on Facebook says, my son got Quentin Spain's size 22 cleats. When he brought it to practice the next year, Lawan said, I know whose shoe that is.
Quentin.
So it's funny. I think he'd be okay with me telling this story. The Buffalo Bills tight end Dawson Knox, who I went to high school with here, was once caught Quentin Spain's gloves at a Titans game. And then they were teammates when he was a rookie in Buffalo and Quentin Spain was in Buffalo.
Wow.
And they were in the facility. He was like, oh, I have your gloves from one of those Kansas City games.
That's great.
It's like all my friends went up to the, like when Mariota caught his own touchdown pass game in Kansas City. And he was like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, I got your gloves from that game. I think Dawson would be okay with me
That's
telling that
pretty
story.
funny,
Cool
actually.
stuff. No, that's a
Yeah.
cool story right there.
I like that.
Have I ever met somebody and later was cool with them? I didn't go to a whole bunch of sporting events like that, so I never saw nobody like that. Just meeting people that you saw on TV for once was one of the main dudes that I was starstruck by was Hines Ward.
Oh, I bet.
Hines was one of those like, dude, am I supposed to talk to Hines? Like it was one of them things. Like it was weird.
I always, when I was a kid, couldn't believe that a guy named Hines played in Hines Field.
So cool.
That didn't make any sense to me.
So mad it's not Heinz Field anymore.
Yeah, I know. Well,
Makes
you
me
got to pay a
mad.
bag to get your
I
name
know.
called.
Big report yesterday is Will Levis with a high ankle sprain, first according to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. And the Houston Texans claim Tier Tart off waivers. See you in a couple weeks, Tier.
Yeah, see you in a couple. I knew he'd get picked up.
Yep.
Big body dudes are hard to find. Somebody's going to always kick the tires on that type of player. Considering he had a second-round tender this year, I want to see what his effort's going to look like in Houston.
Me too. And look, you're always motivated in the beginning to play on a new team and make a good impression. But can that last? Is that going to be something when they go through a rocky patch where he's going to pout or say he doesn't want to go out full effort? I mean, it has to fit for not just a short term while you have motivation, but for the long term. And I just don't think that it fit here in this locker room. Jeffrey Simmons made it clear that he expects effort out of everybody in every game. And I don't know if you were getting that exactly from Tier towards the end. But, best to him at his next destination. Hopefully that works out for him. But I love it now he's in Houston, though, because now they're going to see him.
He gonna have his hands full. I can't wait to see what it look like and what he actually tries to do to the guys that he know very well. He knows all of those dudes.
Sure.
I don't think I've ever seen a quick turnaround of a dude getting cut and a dude potentially playing that fast against their whole team. This is a good storyline. I like it.
Could have saved some money and just had him hop on the plane
Could have.
True.
on the way home.
Yeah.
Like, hey, bud, we got a seat for you. Come on back.
Did. I want this offseason to be fascinating, though, too, just on the basis of where he finally lands and what type of bag that he expects to get. And now the numbers are going way up because the TV deals are kicking in, too.
Yep.
Coming up next, VolQuest's Austin Price joins us for his weekly conversation with us on the show. 2 Tennessee Volunteers commit to Ole Miss over the weekend, but the Vols add to commitments themselves with one more potentially coming up around the corner. If you missed any of our VolQuest conversations last week with Austin, with Brent, they essentially told you every single move that was going to happen last weekend and the exact day it was going to happen. So turn up your radio just a little bit louder in your headphones for Austin Price coming up next.
Genesis Diamonds has just the relief you need this holiday season, okay? 5 years, 0 interest on anything and everything. That's right. Genesis has rolled back interest rates to 0.0%. So that $5,000 diamond ring is yours for just about $85 a month. People are loving this offer, especially this year when finance rates are so high everywhere else. Nothing's held back at Genesis. They'll have rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, certified natural diamonds, also lab-grown diamonds, even their luxury pre-owned Rolex watches. Just pick any item for that special someone and spread your payments over 5 years without paying a dime in interest. A $10,000 designer ring comes to just about $167 a month. Don't miss this incredible offer. Colored gemstones, designer fashion jewelry, the year's most treasured gift, all including this once-a-year offer. At Genesis, they are breaking all the rules to make sure this holiday season your money goes farther. Best prices, unbeatable selection, highest quality, and super aggressive financing. Merry Christmas from Genesis Diamonds. They're located in Green Hills and Cool Springs on approved credit. It's Ramon Foster for United Structural Systems. And when it comes to large home repairs, a lot of the time we homeowners pretend we don't see the warning signs. We are afraid of what we're going to hear. This is especially true with waterproofing and foundation repair. It could be something big that needs to be fixed right away, or it may be a small problem now that'll become bigger later, or it may be nothing at all. Bottom line is, we don't know, and we certainly don't want to be sold something we don't need. What we need is a peace of mind. And United Structural Systems is the company to give you that. They have over 25,000, yes, 25,000 100% satisfied residential customers. And here's how they make that happen. When USS comes out to your house, you're going to get a problem solver who provides a peace of mind to their customers. That's the homeowners. You're not going to get someone who's worried about meeting a sales quota, upselling the next big thing, but someone there to educate you and help you understand what is happening with your home. At USS, the only measure of success is how satisfied the homeowner is and not a closing ratio. Homeowners trust USS, keeping homes dry and stable for over 25 years. USS, serving Middle Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, Western Kentucky, and Northern Alabama. You can reach them online at USSTN.com or call them 615-488-7855.
It's Austin at RKW, brewed by 8th and Roast. Austin Price of AllQuest.com. Listen to those bells with the Stone Cold Steve Austin music as Austin joins us right now. Austin, what's going on?
We just made up for the lack of the glass.
Great.
We went with Santa Claus Stone Cold.
I told him, Austin.
Robert Walsh, ladies and gentlemen.
I told him, Austin, there's no need, and I say this respectfully, young Reed, he's evolved, but he was on the B team, man. Burt's back. He's back, Austin.
I know. Did he know that I refused to talk until
Yep.
Well, we told him that you were actually going to do what every Tennessee player seemingly is doing and enter the transfer portal and go to Ole Miss if you didn't have the glass breaking this morning, Austin.
Nah, you know, you never know if you're down that way and they're in Memphis. You might see me later this week.
There you go.
Yeah. Are you trying to drop a nugget right there, Austin?
I know, right?
You don't just say those things for nothing, Austin.
No, this is a family trip.
Nice. There you go.
Where you going
There
for
it
family, Austin? This is not the time of
It's
the year
Christmas.
for family.
Come
on, Ramon.
All right, what are you doing?
All right. Austin Price of AllQuest with us. Austin, with bowl practices starting up and the conversation continuing about Joe Milton, Nico Iamaleava, and the Citrus Bowl, is there any chance Josh Heupel just decides to go with Nico Iamaleava for a certain amount of series? What is the timeline for just knowing a firm answer potentially on Tennessee's quarterback situation in Orlando?
Well, I think if Tennessee, if Joe elects not to play, and this will be a Joe decision. I don't think Josh Heupel is going to tell Joe he cannot play the bowl game.
Sure.
But if Joe elected to not play in the bowl game, I think that that's something that they probably would keep quiet for at least a little bit longer. I don't see them just unveiling it right now. I mean, Josh Heupel's big on the gamesmanship, and so if that were to be the case, then I think you would see it a little closer. I'm not saying he's going to take it all the way to the day before the game or anything like that, but I mean, I think that he's going to Iowa to spend as much time preparing for one guy when it's the other guy, as long as they can. So again, I think that that's still a possibility. I don't think it's crazy talk to think that you could see Joe elect not to play in the bowl game, but all sides have a little time involved here, a little bit of time before it gets really before the rubber meets the road.
Well, Austin, this Iowa offense is not one that is super intimidating. I think there are some high school teams, maybe a Knoxville West or a Macaulay or Baylor, that could maybe get some stops against this Iowa offense. But for the Tennessee secondary specifically, a big opportunity with a lot of transfers out for some younger guys to get some reps. Who do you think steps up into a bigger role in that secondary? Who does Tennessee want to see get live action for maybe the first time?
Well, I think what you'll see is Ricky Gibson get a lot more run. I think he starts the game, plays a ton. I think Jordan Matthews, Christian Conyers are all very real possibilities to, get their first real run of the season. And we'll see at safety. I mean, Tate McCullough's going to play, and then Andre Turntine. We'll see what they do at star. I would assume that's Jordan Thomas. Will Brooks obviously, played the last couple of games due to injury, but this is a real opportunity. I think coaches by nature struggle to play young guys unless they're forced to, because what if he busts? What if he doesn't know what to do? What if he goes the wrong way and it leads to points for the other team? And I think coaches by nature struggle. They're forced in a lot of ways with some of the transfers or opt-outs to play some of these young guys, whether it be Cam Selding at tailback, whether it be Ricky Gibson and Jordan Matthews and Christian Conyers in the secondary. They're forced to do it. And so, I think it would help all parties involved if the young guys played well, because if they play well, it emboldens the coaches to take more risks playing young guys going forward, right? Whereas if they go out there and they don't play well, then it's going to make them even more gun shy. So I think for all parties involved, it would be good if those young DBs played well, if Cam Seldon played well, to kind of, I guess, embolden the coaches going into 2024, because I think Tennessee needs to play more of the younger guys going forward.
Austin, going into the bowl practices, I hated them because it was just you and your teammates every single day. But I get it now, man, because it's your opportunity to really, leapfrog into the next year before off-season training hits. For this group in particular, you're talking mainly about the young guys and what they have to do. What is the goals for this team? I think that that may need some real adjustment that they can actually see in this bowl settings right now as they practice.
Pertaining to what?
As far as I would say, this offense, is there anything you want to see come out of this bowl practice and in the game that you say, yes, that's something we needed to see adjusted as far as the way they are operating offensively, i.e. going over the middle or not just running straight down the sideline?
You hit the nail on the head. It's working the middle of the field. I mean, you go back to the last game or two, Tennessee worked the middle of the field fairly well. I think working the tight ends is something I want to continue to see. They did that this year. I mean, Jacob Moore and McCallum Castles totaled 8 touchdowns. That's a nice number from the tight end spot. And you just love to see, more plays made at the wide receiver spot, whether it be Chaz Nimrod, Caleb Webb, Squirrel White. You just want to see Tennessee be able to throw it around a little bit better. The offense looks so different this past year compared to the last 2 years. Was that just the change at quarterback? Was that not being as good a receiver? Was it a combination of the both? I mean, obviously Tennessee ran the ball really well this year. Jalen Wright had a special year, and then, Dylan Sampson and Jabari Small were nice pieces around him. And so, I think you just love to see the offense take a turn, Ramon, to where it looks more like the 2022 offense and not the 2023 offense.
With the exit of Tyler Barron going to Ole Miss, he played that kind of hybrid D-end, big D tackle, or small D tackle role. Is there anybody that comes to mind that you look to play in that role for this group moving forward?
Well, I think going forward, you look at a guy like Tyree Weathersby, who had the hip surgery back in August and had to miss the season. I think that's where they envision him playing. And Tyree certainly looks the part. And I know that he had done enough in a short amount of time that Rodney Garner was uber excited, and Rodney Garner just doesn't get uber excited about much. So, if he returns to form, then, I would envision him being that role. Tennessee would love to, continue to see a guy like Tyree West come along. I think that's another guy that you can pinpoint. He'll be going to his 3rd year in the program next year. And so you look at those couple of guys, and I think that's kind of where you start. Now, for this bowl game, I think this is more on a guy like Tyree West, or Dom Bailey. Those two would be the two I would look at in this bowl game to pick up the slack where Tyler Barron will not be there.
Speaking of the transfers too, though, Austin, you have a timeline in which to get in and look for a home. If within the first 2 weeks of you entering, is that when the panic button kind of starts to set in a little bit when you look at guys that have hopped into the portal? And the only reason I mention it because you have a former 4-star like Addison Nichols who's yet to name his location. Where do you go with that? Is it just, okay, we'll wait and see?
Yeah, I mean, you hope for Addison that he finds the landing spot he's looking for, right? I think some kids, not all, some, have no plan, and they get in not understanding, like, most kids kind of know where they're going, or at least know the handful of teams that they're looking at. It doesn't feel like Addison's, in any rush, and so you hope that the destinations that he's looking for are there for him when he makes a decision. But will be interesting to kind of see how that one plays out. At this point, Jack Luttrell's with Arizona, T-Mac and Tyler Barron, Ole Miss. Danico Slaughter, Arkansas, Warren Burrell, Georgia Tech. Out of all those players, Barron to me would be the only one that you really hated to lose. Tyler was a really productive player here, and certainly you'd love to have had him back from a production standpoint. And but the rest, I mean, either missed a chunk of the season or hadn't done a whole lot, and so I don't think that their loss is as impactful as Tyler Barron's.
Austin Price of VolQuest joining us this morning on RKW. Austin, let's talk a little recruiting. Adding a 2024 piece again with a JUCO defensive lineman, Jamal Wallace. And I know coming up from the Sacramento area to play ball here. What does a guy with experience do to help a team on top of just already, getting a guy like that?
Well, I think, getting a JUCO kid, you expect them to come in and try to, fill voids or help right away. Tennessee's really deep on the defensive line, Kayla, so I don't think they necessarily have to have him right away. He's an interesting prospect. He's kind of like he's the football version of Anthony Davis from a standpoint of, and he didn't go from 6'1" to 6'11". He went from 190 to 290. He added 100 pounds coming out of high school during COVID. And so, he's went from a skill guy to a kind of at the JUCO level, a stand-up edge defensive lineman. He's going to be an inside guy here, in my opinion. I mean, again, he's pushing 3 bills and moves really well for his size. But he's still not one. I don't see him standing up the way they have him used at the junior college level. But either way, I mean, you're adding a JUCO like Jamal Wallace with the expectations that he can come in and help you. Now, again, as I said, they're pretty deep on the defensive line. Where I think he really helps you is interior 2025, because right now Tennessee doesn't have a lot of interior guys for that 2025 roster.
How about defensive lineman Carson Gentle? And I know he made the commitment back in July of 2022.
Yeah, he's been committed for a while, and the longest tenured commitment in the class, and took his official visit this past weekend. And he played linebacker at McCallie. He will not play linebacker here. Right. So, I think they'll, be trying to, he's a strong kid, but they'll be trying to put, get more strength on him and probably put a little bit more weight on him. And, I'd say, between 250 and 260 is where I kind of envision him, once he gets to the field. I don't see him, again, they're so deep on the defensive line. I don't see him playing right away. So that next year, putting the right kind of weight on him, getting him stronger and seeing where he can go from there.
Austin Price, FallQuest.com, at Austin Priceless on Twitter, where you can follow him. Austin, with Tennessee now having its 2 subtractions in the transfer portal, and Tamarion McDonald and Tyler Barron, Danico Slaughter, who you mentioned, announcing his destination as well. What is the next big domino to fall for Tennessee as they wait on a corner for the Pac-12, a wide receiver from Tulane? What do you feel like is next up on Tennessee's radar?
Well, those two. Jermod McCoy will announce his decision later today. I feel like Tennessee's done a really nice job in this one, continues to trend well there. Then Chris Brazel, wide receiver from Tulane. He's from the state of Texas. Had a really productive year. Tennessee wanted to add an outside receiver. Feels like Tennessee's in a really solid spot with Chris as he heads into a decision probably in the next 24 to 48 hours, I would say. This is a kid who's long, athletic, can run, and that's what Tennessee wanted out of the portal at the wide receiver spot, get an outside receiver. And then, we wait on to see what Brew McCoy's going to do. Is he going to stay or is he going to go pro? I don't see him transferring. It's just a matter of, does he stick around for another year or does he go pro? And then the high school kids, the tight ends, Willie Rodriguez, Cole Harrison, both of those had a really good visit this past weekend, and wouldn't shock me if either one of those ended up in Orange.
So, Austin, Tullahoma native Jacoby Thomas flips from Oregon State to Tennessee. Something about Oregon State defensive backs or just guys that are tied to that program for this Tennessee team. Former MTSU defensive back. What is Tennessee getting in him, and where do you see him fitting into this defense next season?
As safety, really productive player at MTSU, and a kid who is excited to wear his home state colors, and a lot of pride in that. I think the excitement, in his voice when he was telling me about picking Tennessee, I mean, it just meant something to him. It meant something to Ramon, it meant something to Ron Slay. More old school, because not every kid that comes out now has that home state pride or just pride in their school. I mean, look, everybody's got to do what they got to do. I kind of got on my soapbox last Thursday when I was on with you all. And, everybody's got to do what they got to do. But, I just wonder if some kids don't think about, the long-term
effects of bouncing around, especially if they're playing. Like if they're not playing, that's different. But, the kids that leave that, are starters just because, they wanted an extra $10,000 or $15,000 in NIL, just sometimes it just kind of makes me queasy. Like, did you really think about the long-term effects of this? From, just being around the program. But he's got, so much pride, in being here. And, we'll see what he does. Again, he's been super productive at MTSU. And I think that's a testament to his hard work coming out of Tullahoma. And, that program is, of course, is coming off a state title, 2 years ago. And, I know he wasn't on that team, but he has, kind of laid the foundation for that group. So excited to kind of see what he can do at the safety spot here.
That's some cool stuff right there, Austin, because that's always my conversations for in-state guys when it's time to make that decision. Like, where are you planning on being at after you're done? Kind of goes a long way. As you mentioned me and Ron's name, there's so many other guys around this state, from this state, or have been here for a while, that it really is there's opportunity here for you in this world if you decide to stay in state. Now, I get it. Tennessee ain't for everybody, and I will not make that case either. But it is fascinating when you have those type of guys that understand why they're staying in state, Austin.
Yeah, 100%. Again, like, you're never going to keep every player in state, no matter where you go. I mean, you look at the On3, 24/7 Rivals rankings for the state of Georgia for this 2024 class. I don't think Georgia's getting one of the top 10. And they're the top best team in college football. I know they're not in the playoffs because they lost Alabama in the championship game, but, they've been the best program in college football the last 3 or 4 years. And they're not getting one of the top 10 in their state. I think that's just kind of where we're at. But you're never going to get them all. But I think the ones you do get, you hope, take some pride in it, right? I know the ones that Georgia gets they take pride in wearing the G. The Tennessee takes pride in wearing the T. People from Alabama, take pride in playing at Alabama. So again, it's not for everybody, but I just think for some kids, especially the ones that have been here 3 or 4 years that are playing, you think about the going away for 1 year for a little bit more money. Does it have an impact long term? Is that 1 year worth it? Is the juice worth the squeeze? Maybe it is, and I hope it is for all those kids. I hope they get everything they want out of life. But sometimes I think that decisions get made without thinking about the trickle down of what's to come. And now I'm off my soapbox. Somebody turned the heat on over there. Caleb's
It is cold over here.
Yeah, the biggest story the biggest conversation I've had though about that though is watching Heupel change the narrative on Tennessee, where some coaches think Butch and Pruitt weren't. They didn't elect to actually make Tennessee athletes a priority. So it kind of ruined a lot of that too. But apparently, because my kid's in high school now, the conversation's changing about that, which is a good thing too, Austin.
Yeah, I will say this about Jeremy Pruitt. Jeremy Pruitt's the first coach around here in a long time, probably since Fulmer, that made Memphis a priority.
Right.
Like if you go and you look at, we're talking about, Omari Thomas. We're talking about, Bryson Eason, Marion McDonald, who's not going to Ole Miss, but Jabari Small. He signed his fair share out of Memphis. Tennessee hadn't done that in a long time. So Butch, I would agree with you. Jeremy, I would say, especially Memphis, he made Memphis a priority, which again is part of this state, even though it's a weird state, oblong, and it takes 6 hours to get there.
Preach.
It's still part of this state.
Preach to the choir, Austin.
I enjoyed this 6 hours, man. It made me grow up a little bit, Austin.
Austin Price of VolQuest, our guest. Tuesdays here on RKW at Austin Priceless, where you can go for the latest from VolQuest from him. Austin, have a very Merry Christmas. We will talk to you soon.
Appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a Merry Christmas, too. I really appreciate y'all having me on the show every week. It is a treasure.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Austin.
Thank you, Austin. There's Austin Price with us this morning. The ho-ho-hos and the bells with the glass breaking.
Yeah.
Make for a good
That
conversation.
was great.
Solid work right there.
We'll reflect on some of that with Austin coming up. Some other recruiting nuggets, courtesy of our friends of VolQuest, coming up next. RKW is brewed by 8th and Roast on 104.5 The Zone. 615-737-1045 is our number. We'll reset the show, reset the headlines coming up in 10 minutes. And hear what Mike Vrabel had to say about Will Levis's ankle injury that could keep him from the field for the rest of the season. 3HL's Ron Slay also slated to join us at 9:20 this morning. Tennessee over the weekend adds a commitment from Notre Dame tight end Holden Stays. And again, we mentioned it. And obviously, if you hear Austin Price and Brent Hubbs on our show, you know how on it those guys are. They were especially on it last week.
Yeah, they were.
To pat them on the back. We were told that Jalen Wright would likely announce his NFL decision on Friday. That happened like 2 hours after we got off the air. And then the conversation about Holden Stays and the Kentucky tight end who was scheduled to visit Tennessee. And they were going to take whoever committed first. And then a couple hours later, Holden Stays, the Notre Dame tight end, committed to Tennessee. Ranked by 247 Sports as the number one tight end in the transfer portal. Did Tennessee not use its tight ends enough for you this season, Ramon?
I don't think they did. But, of course, who separated themselves to be able to do it? McCallan Castles had a solid enough season, but the incorporation of him we were too skittish. I think we probably had, and I ain't got the stat line in front of me, but a ton of just 3 and outs. There was not a whole lot of flow to the offense this year, which, of course, incorporating the tight end down the middle would actually kind of help that a little bit. Like, you can't go to the edges every single time. So I'm hoping for the sake of this offense, you got to attack that linebacker group, because if you're not attacking them, man, that's pressure up the middle, and you can't afford that each and every play, each and every game, which is why I asked the question, what's the adjustments that we, kind of want to see going into this bowl season? These practices, the expectation. You're going to get the number one tight end. Hey, use him. That's one thing that I say to most schools. Like, I understand getting a stockpile of talent and stars and, hey, the shiny new pieces. But piece that stuff together. Use them guys. I mean, they make it hard for you not to hop in the portal sometime if recruiting is all lies anyway. And I get there and you show me that you're not going to use me. Like, Holden Stays we need to hear his name. Stay. Like, all of that.
I love like the use of the tight end in the college game if it's used correctly, right? Because it really can then catapult your NFL career. Because we've seen certain programs really feature them, and it helps. I mean, you're seeing some of these tight ends drafted so high, and then I feel like a lot of them do go on to find success in the NFL. Now, you have to find the right ones, and you have to feature them right. But I think that Tennessee can benefit from that, and that player can then benefit from his experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's interesting with Tennessee. I wonder if Josh Heupel can just tell Joe Milton to opt out of the Citrus Bowl. Austin Price mentioned that with us a minute ago. Said, well, I don't think Josh Heupel's going to make the decision for him. This is going to need to be Joe's decision, but that decision has reportedly not been made yet, despite the fact that Joe is going through bowl practices. I just wonder if Josh Heupel tries to nudge him a little bit that direction. Josh Heupel's not stupid. I think he understands that it's in the best interest of this program right now to let Nico Iamaleava play against Iowa in the Citrus Bowl.
You know what I say? At most, give him a send-off. Let him do the first series. Draw it up as perfectly as you possibly can to get a touchdown for him, and let him bow. Give Nico the rest. If at the most, I would want him to do. Just because the relationship they have is it seems to be very near and dear to him. So if we see a passing of the torch after one series, I'll live that life.
He's from that area, is that correct?
He's from Florida.
Joe Milton, okay.
Closer to Miami.
Okay.
Closer to Miami, okay. He'd probably still have a lot of friends up there.
Quick question on the way out for you guys. What do you think can do more for Joe Milton's draft stock? The rest of the draft evaluation period, the Senior Bowl, the Combine, or this bowl game?
The rest of the draft.
Yeah, the rest of the draft.
Yep.
For sure.
Senior Bowl specifically would be huge for him.
Yep.
Chris in the F&M Bank chat on Twitter says, look at Iowa. They rely on defense. They usually finish in the top 25 every year. I honestly think that for that reason, you have great reason to let Nico Iamaleava play against a great defense. Like, there is no knocking Iowa's defense. It's one of the best defenses in the country.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean,
always is.
It's not going to be a exciting bowl game for the neutral observer because no Iowa games are exciting for the neutral observer. But I do think there is valuable lessons for Tennessee to learn against one of the best defenses in the country.
I like that point. Why not, right? I mean, he played a little this year. We saw a little bit of Nico, but I think this would be great. I mean, not only are you going to get the fanfare of it, but you're going to get him some really good experience.
Coming up, we'll reset the headlines, hear what Mike Vrabel had to say about Will Levis. Talk to Ron Slay at 9:20. Fast show this morning.
Yeah, it was.
I'm stating the obvious. It's always a fast show. But the fourth hour is coming up next.
9 o'clock. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. Monday Night Football last night. Seahawks were able to complete the comeback, beating the Eagles 20-17. 1 minute 52 remained on the clock with Philly up by 4. Drew Lock led a 92-yard game-winning drive, capped off by a 29-yard strike to Jackson Smith and Jigba's fingertips to give the Seahawks the victory. Drew Lock had not started a game in the NFL since 2021 for the Broncos. Seahawks now looking towards Nashville coming here next week, or on Sunday, rather. Update on some Titans news. Jeremy Fowler reporting that quarterback Will Levis dealing with a high ankle sprain. Still uncertain whether the Titans will need to sit him or for how long, but the promising rookie campaign faces a health challenge this week. And Tierre Tart, who was put on waivers earlier in the week, was claimed by the Houston Texans. Cincinnati Bengals and Cleveland Browns also put in a waiver claim for Tierre Tart. Tart had amassed 21 tackles, 8 tackles for a loss, and 1 sack on the year, and gets to see the Titans again for the second Texan matchup in Houston on December 31st. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
RKW is brewed by 8th and Rose for one more hour on your Tuesday morning. We've got Mike Vrabel talking about Will Levis. We've got Ron Slay coming up in 20 minutes. Lots to discuss, lots to recap from a very busy morning so far to begin your Tuesday. Hope it's a good one, even though unfortunately it is a cold one. I don't know, though. Closer to Christmas, I'm okay with it. Mm-hmm. It's the 1 week where I'm okay with it being in the 20s.
Yeah.
With Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson. Robert Walsh, our producer. I'm Will Bowling.
At one point we were supposed to get snow this week.
Where are we?
Straight up.
Really?
I just remember Buck complains about a lot of things, but I remember generally him complaining about, and I think we're supposed to get snow next week. So I don't know if we were supposed to or not, but when I looked at the weather, I saw no snow, so that is upgraded.
Sounded like Sean Connery.
Right?
Supposed to get snow this week.
You're silly, Sally. My Buck always sounds like Sean Connery.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I like it, though. He kind of does sound like that.
615-737-1045 if you want to jump in.
What kind of stupid-ass question is that? I love
Wasn't that his promo?
Yeah.
I loved that.
They let a fellow yesterday, man, stay on past the music that they play on the Wrap It Up
Who was
part.
that?
It was an older gentleman speaking about how long he'd been coaching.
Wait.
And his ability to say, hey, you're supposed to just line him up and have him smack him in the mouth, and Buck just let him go.
He was on our phone yesterday waiting, and Jackson, I think, didn't get to him.
Oh.
Because we were at the end of the show.
Yeah.
So he must have kind of just like popped on over to Bucks.
I think Buck was amused and let him just go on with it, and it made me want to strap up my bootstraps. Okay, tie up my bootstraps and go bang some people and just move people around and everything.
Pause.
I know it's major pause right there.
One thing Buck likes to do, Buck likes to give people the shovel to dig themselves a hole. If someone comes on and they have an opinion that's less intelligent than he's perceived it to be, he will let you dig a hole and continue to bury yourself, and then put you on hold where you can't say anything, you can't rebuttal, and bury you with the dirt that you pulled out.
That's fascinating you said, because he was like, we're gonna put you on hold. I was like, what? The dude, he's talked already. Like, why are you putting him on hold? Like, did he win a prize for not stopping the talk while you play the wrap up music? It was fascinating. He mentioned Nick Saban in that rant. He mentioned like old school, how long he been coaching. And I was confused too, because he said, I'm 83, and by the end of his rant, he was 82.
Wait, he went back a year.
I don't know how he did that.
Benjamin Button.
Yeah. He got some confidence on Buck's show. And
I was proud of Buck for letting it ride right there. It's new. That was new.
Earlier this morning, a quarterback change in the NFC South. Taylor Heineke is quarterback 1 of the Atlanta Falcons once again.
Can I ask a question, guys?
You may.
If Arthur Smith gets fired, does Vrabel hire him?
I knew that was coming.
Sorry, I had to do it. I had to do it. I had to do it.
He's the Josh McDaniels of Nashville.
Everybody loves that old thing.
Hey, Art.
Everybody does,
come on
man.
back.
I don't know. Do you want that? Are you over Tim Kelly? Personally, I don't think Tim Kelly's terrible, but Arthur
he
Smith
needs more
has
to work with.
everybody's hearts. So
I know. I like Tim Kelly, though. Not like full disclosure, I do like Tim Kelly. I think he needs a little more time to get whatever pieces they have in here so he can display fully what he can do, because it's been erratic in terms of I just don't know what exactly he is yet.
So what's the reasoning for Arthur's failures in Atlanta then, if that's the case on him
Maybe
getting
he's
fired?
not a head
like
coach.
That's the
right?
bigger question that I have. Well, it's probably that, not a head coach, but as far as what is their offensive ranking and points and style, and has
They've got a
Desmond Ridder.
really good offensive line, and that's about it.
Yeah.
But okay, so there we go. We got the conversation about having a really good offensive line, and they got that.
Mm-hmm.
Here, you don't have a good offensive line, and here's your results of that. So what is separating Arthur Smith from not having production with a good O-line? We can say why this offense isn't good here. Well, the O-line's got a whole lot of issues. There, you've got that answered. On top of you got some really good wide receivers. You got the number 8 overall pick as far as running backs. You got Kyle Pitts, and you can't make that happen.
Which they've questioned the usage of those guys, right?
So what's
Arthur.
Arthur's issues then? And I ain't got the answer for it. I'm just saying, of course, this fan base of Arthur does see Black Monday and it's not in his favor. How do you go back to him if he hasn't proven that he can make it happen in another place? Unless Tennessee is just his fix.
Maybe he's a coordinator and that's all right.
I mean, at one point, he had Bijan Robinson blocking for Cordero Patterson over the weekend. That's a lot of the complaint is that you're putting Algier over Robinson and you're not throwing the ball to Kyle Pitts. But Kyle Pitts, I don't know if he's really earned a lot, though. I don't know. I mean, the Kyle Pitts thing is interesting in Atlanta because that guy is an action figure. And it is confusing to me why he has not become more of a star there. And people around Atlanta like to blame Arthur Smith for it. And I don't know how fair that really is. I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert on the Atlanta Falcons. But when they were here, it looked like they were just held back by terrible quarterback play. And coaches lose their jobs when they help pick the wrong quarterback, and they put their eggs in the Desmond Ridder basket. And it came up empty.
He ain't it.
And on paper, Dave Ragone is their offensive coordinator. So Arthur may have some grace there if he's not retained. Well, if he is retained, again, this team is hired an offensive head coach. They're only averaging 18.4 points a game. If we're talking about that. And on the other side of that, the defense is monstrous.
Yeah.
Only 20 points basically a game. So how do you explain this for him in Atlanta?
It's weird.
And I think it could also just boil down to quarterback play. If you look at Desmond Ridder, he's been great at some point and then been really bad other times. I think 21 total turnovers between fumbles and interceptions for him, but he also leads the league in game-winning drives this year. So the duality of man with Desmond Ridder. If you had somebody who was maybe just a little bit more efficient, they probably win some of those closer games and are probably winning the NFC South, but coulda, woulda, shoulda.
NFC South correspondent Robert Walsh reporting.
Very nice.
That was solid by you, Walt.
Beautiful.
Mike Vrabel spoke yesterday to the media, spoke about Will Levis's ankle injury, said he is sore. It is a similar mechanism to Ryan Tannehill's ankle injury, but was very adamant that the Titans being eliminated from postseason play will not affect his decision to potentially throw Levis back out there. This was Mike Vrabel yesterday.
I don't think that necessarily weighs into, the decision right now. I want to make sure that, one, that he can protect himself, that he can do his job up to the expectations that we have, and that he, really the most important thing is that any player can protect themselves out there when, during a game. So it's Monday right now. He's sore, obviously, like a lot of guys, and we'll see, how things go.
Who starts a quarterback Sunday? Not who should start a quarterback. Who do you think starts a quarterback on Sunday?
I'm going Tannehill.
I'm going Ryan Tannehill for the sheer fact that I felt like he was going to come in on Sunday. And that's the only thing that I can actually say there's a reason behind that. And that's why. And it could completely change this week. I'm not saying that that's the end-all, be-all because he was about to come in that game. But that's the only thing that I can take that actually makes sense.
Well, Sunday they didn't have an option.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Malik is the emergency third
Yeah.
quarterback, and Tannehill would have had to also get hurt for Malik to be eligible to play.
But you made Tannehill the backup, right? I mean, technically you made him the backup.
Right.
To play at some point if it does happen to come to that. Now it's at that.
Yeah.
I wonder if Tannehill would have something to say about it, strictly from a health point,
Right.
strictly from a free agency standpoint, where he has to hit free agency next year. And if he has an injury that lingers into times when he would go to workouts or free agent visits, that could potentially hurt his capital. So I wonder if there's a moment where he's like, look, I will back up Malik, but I do not want to start this weekend.
It's a really interesting question. I have no idea what they're going to do. Genuinely no idea. I would rather them go with Malik Willis and give him some kind of shine going into an offseason where I think he's unlikely to be your backup. But then again, Malik Willis is obviously a blind spot for me because I didn't think he'd even be on the roster at a camp. So I was wrong on him once, and I probably will be again, whatever I say. But at this point, I'd like to see what he can do. You need somebody that can move behind this offensive line, and I don't know if Ryan Tannehill can move as well as Malik Willis can.
So the question that comes if you put Malik out there, one, how much of the offense is he going to have? Hopefully the whole playbook, because he's been here with Tim Kelly. He should fully understand all of that. But it's also the motive for putting Malik out there. Is it because, okay, now we really will have the secretive conversation of draft slots. How high can we go up? I'm not saying that putting Malik in is a loser's mentality or are you expecting to lose, but if the goal is to always win in this situation, I would expect Tannehill to be the better option. If Malik goes out there, will the quiet part be actually said out loud? And this is, again, it feels dirty speaking about this because it's like, well, throw Malik out there to the Wolves so we can get a higher draft pick. But if we're asking the question on paper to paper, who's the better option to help you win? My gut and what I've seen tells me Ryan Tannehill is.
Yeah.
No question.
Opportunities for Malik is also, to your point, trade value. He's somewhat earned it. And heck, what else do we have to lose? That's where I sit on that.
I just think the only way he'll go in is if Ryan, like Bert said, goes to the organization and says, look, I'm not getting back behind that line. I've already had ankle injuries. I'm healthy now. I'm on my way out. This next year I'll be somewhere else. That's the only way I can see him not being the backup.
615-737-1045 our number. Coming up, we'll bring Ron Slay into the conversation. Who should start Sunday for the Titans if Will Levis can't go? And what his message would be to a team that has little to play for in terms of playoff chances. They have nothing to play for, but still has 3 games to play out for the rest of this season. Ron Slade joins us to have that conversation and wherever else he leads us coming up next. RKW is brewed by 8th and Roast on 104.5 The Zone as Ron Slay's music is playing in the studios.
Face mob.
3HL and SEC Networks, Ron Slay is in the building. What's up, Ron? How are you?
What's happening, y'all? Man, what's going on? What up, KK? What up, Savage Life?
Man, Bertimus got he got a gym for you need to know about, man. Bertimus, yeah. I just throw it.
How many nicknames does Robert have?
He running 10 deep right now. Yeah, he running 10 deep in the ashtray.
How many of them are Ron Slay approved?
I give him about 4.
Okay.
You got like 4.
Okay.
Like 4. Then a lot
4
of
out of
them
the
is,
10.
a lot of them is, he just got caught in the mood. You know what I mean? I might call him anything. You know
That's
what
where Bertimus came,
Yeah,
right?
that's what
I
I'm
ain't
saying.
have no reason.
Yeah, I might call him sandpaper or something, man. It ain't no real name. It's just like, what that mean?
We could call him Smokey.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
You know?
It's just
Bark,
like,
bark.
Bart?
No, bark, bark, like Smokey the dog.
Oh!
Hey, we already got Burt. We don't need bark, bark.
I was going to say. Slay is the ultimate arbiter of nicknames, deciding if one
man,
needs to
you know
stay.
that, man. You know that. I mean, I'm going to get my flowers.
Godfather of nicknames.
That's right.
our father.
Look at this.
Yeah, little Desi said she gonna slide through.
Yeah, okay.
That's a little cousin.
I love cousin.
Oh, how old's Des?
That's 25 now.
Oh,
Is she
so she's
25
not
now?
Lil.
Dang.
She's still
little Des.
Okay, she is.
Yeah.
All right.
She said we were
Fair.
protecting
Yeah,
at all costs.
Yeah. Hold up, man. That's what I'm
Right?
talking about, girl.
Just grab him and hold him.
That's it. That's
Stay
all we
this
gonna
age.
do. That's all we gonna do.
I swear.
Yeah, man. What
when I was
y'all got
25.
going on, Will Lee? What y'all got popping today, man?
I remember when I was.
That was yesterday,
25.
wasn't it? No.
Last year.
Last year. Yeah, Will was out here running the streets of Baton Rouge at that time.
That was.
There's
You
a
and me.
lot popping yesterday.
That's
I
when,
don't
that's
know how
when
you're
Slay and I
feeling.
bonded.
Yeah, it was. That was, yeah.
It was when you decided I was all right.
You stamped it. Picking me up, playing a little booster. You can't win my heart. It's easy
Went
way
straight
to
to
win my
Raising
heart.
Cane's.
That's it. Win Raising Cane's.
It started off to 6 o'clock with something wild today, and
Oh,
I can't forget it. I will
Slay,
not forget
when
it.
you're cooking, there's one thing you always need to remember. If you ain't sneezing, it ain't seasoned.
And I love it.
There's
And I love it.
just a smirk
I
over
can,
here.
I
from
can,
Slay.
okay. Yeah.
Think about when you whipping
Smart.
it.
Yeah, a lot of times it's gonna take a second for it to get to me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's
But
right.
yeah, okay, Will. Let me process them. Give me to the end.
And the only reason I got is because last week I was making the gumbo, which I told you about,
Yeah.
and I immediately sneezed.
Yeah, you
Okay,
know what it is.
Achoo!
Yeah.
And I was just like, that make all the sense in the world. If
Doing it right?
if you ain't sneezing, then don't offer me nothing.
It'll hit you in 3 to 5 business days. That's when it'll be delivered.
That's
Don't offer me
Holiday
nothing.
season, we're busy with a lot of logistics.
a lot of other stuff going on.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. It'll
I
hit
can
you
dig it.
before the holiday.
I can do it. Respect. Respect.
Did you have craziness on your show from callers yesterday? Because in the mornings,
Yeah,
Whoa,
see, this is
baby.
the thing. This is what I told Yora. Like going into it, you guys are y'all the buffer for us.
That's true.
On Victory Mondays, on Heartache Mondays, y'all are the buffer all the way to. So by the time it gets to us, we kind of got to reset and kind of take a different avenue. So we don't get all of the craziness that y'all get.
Yeah.
But me listening in on the shows all day yesterday, it was a wild wild little day yesterday, man. And it's funny how quick everybody forgets, like, how you got here. Like me and Savage talk about all the time. Winning does two things, man. It soothes and it masks. Every single time. Like, Miami to win, it soothes you. It makes you think, wait a minute. We can still get there. And it almost erased everything that happened prior with all the injuries, the coaching malpractices, whatever happened. Miami left you like, dang, it's about to be a Titans team.
Yep.
It's a Mike Vrabel team. We about to make a run for the playoffs. And everybody bought in, including me, after betting minus 15.5 that Miami was going to cover.
Notably.
Yeah, but then you come back to Sunday and you're like, wait a minute, man. Oh, we still do have O-line problems. Oh, we still can't get King going. Oh, we still missing guys way downfield. Oh, he still ain't got time to throw. So it all reared its ugly head again, and it make you go back to like, dang, that's what winning does.
like,
Would you
what
forget?
roller coaster do you compare this to that you've ridden in the past? That's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to think. Like my
this-
childhood roller coaster.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go to adulthood. I'm gonna have to go to the X2, man. That's one of my favorite ones out there at California California Adventures.
Yeah.
They got the X2 where you sit down and then before it takes off, it leans you down and you looking dead face down at the ground. Horizontal. I love this habit. You see so many iPhones and everything laying down there. People done dropped out of the phone. I'm like, yes, George.
Is Ramon not a roller coaster person?
No, I am.
I love roller coasters.
Me too. I just can't get on all of them anymore. But, the ones I can, I'm on them. And that X2, it take you up. And when you get to the top, it drops you where you're looking at the ground. Horizontally. That's a bad boy. And that's what I feel like I'm on with the Titans.
That's how the Sheikra at Busch Gardens in Tampa Bay is.
Right there.
And I remember that roller coaster because I rode it 2 years in a row watching Ramon play in the Outback
I remember
Bowl.
that one.
Yeah.
06, 07.
When we had our park day, you know what I did? Walk right past it.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Looks good.
cool.
It's cool over there.
That's my favorite roller coaster.
Ain't that dangerous enough?
That's for somebody else.
You're playing Penn State and Wisconsin. It's the only danger you needed in those years.
Exactly. I'm good.
Facts.
Slay, who should start for the Titans at quarterback on Sunday?
That's a loaded question. We'll lead and go so many different ways. I understand why it should be Will Levis to get the most experience as possible.
Right.
Playing with live ammunition, it's just different. You know what I mean? It's nothing that can substitute in that. You can't go into the off season saying I'm gonna get 7 on 7. I'm gonna get, even when we go 11 on 11, it's live practice. You're still gonna get the whistle blown. You're not gonna get hit. You're not gonna feel that same pressure. So I understand that, but I date back to week 7 coming out of the bye. The only thing that I was nervous about with Will Levis taking snaps behind this offensive line was him getting hurt. We saw it with Ryan Tannehill, and he, the ultimate veteran when it comes to it. And, you know what I mean, when it comes to feeling pressure and knowing that this O-line ain't going to block. I got to get rid of this ball. It's just part of it. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. That's what they've shown us. You know what I mean? They are trying. Hell yeah, they trying. They're competing, but just ain't enough at times. So I didn't want Will Levis to get back there, get hurt, and start forming bad habits. I think when you go into the mode of survival, you got to do what you got to do to survive. And if that means throw the ball in traffic because you're trying to hurry him get rid of it, well, so be it. If that means you missed a guy running wide open down the field because you don't know when the pressure's going to get there, you got to hurry up. You don't get to look up. You miss D-Hop, same way. It's that's what I didn't want to happen. Also, it's the NFL. So you can't protect them. You know what I mean? You just got to be smart and pray for the best. You know what I mean? When you go out there. So I understand that part of him. Would I want him out there? No. If I'm Tannehill, do I think if I call Tannehill's number, he's going out there? I'm going to say no. Why would you go put up with the same fan base that couldn't wait for you to get out of there?
Right.
You know what I mean? And now they understanding that you had some mishaps, more so the Cincinnati game than it just cast a huge shadow. But, I mean, he did the same thing you did. It was more completions. He was more gun-ho about it because he didn't know what he didn't know. When you talk about Will Levis, Tannehill knew what he knew coming off 2 years of not being able to get blocked for us. So, would I go back out there? I doubt it. Do I feel it's right to put Malik out there? No, I don't. Unless you want him to just run for his life just because he's the most athletic to get away from these guys and the most elusive of the three, it would work well. And yes, it'll give him more footage and opportunities to put out there for other teams. And as far as auditions goes, to show that he's grown from week whatever to now at this point. He's learned, been in the film room, trying to correct some things. But I don't want him behind that offensive line either.
So Derrick Henry at King Cat for the whole game?
Yeah,
That's what you're
him and Tajay Spears. That's where that's where I'm at. That is exactly where I'm at. Tajay Spears and him handling the ball.
Yep.
Read option.
Yep.
Without any other reads.
It does. It's a toss-up.
It is, man.
It really is because Tannehill chilling on the sideline,
Man, big chilling.
I'm talking about Christmas took care of.
Yeah.
It ain't to say that he ain't a competitor or
Right.
but it's understood that this ain't a squad number. And then you also, Savage, like you said, you faced with the idea that, look, you're going to have a backup, and most teams have a young guy in the fold anyway. Is Malik that guy moving forward?
Yep.
And, of course, the fan conversation is play Malik.
Yeah.
So do you give them what they want? Because if he still can't protect himself or have a feel for the pocket, which we don't know, because like you said, having live ammo is different from practice.
Yep.
It is.
Yep.
Do you throw him out there? Now, we're at that conversation again. It just feels dirty talking about
it does.
It really does.
It does. I will say, like, going into it, if I'm in that situation, I'm a young guy, I'm chomping at the bit to get an opportunity.
Me too.
You know what I mean? I'm just looking at it from the fan approach, what's going to be talked about, because we talk about it every day, what we have to filter through as far as questions, as far as chat, as far as social media, all of these questions from everyone, fans, media included. But if I'm in the locker room and they call my number, hell yeah, I can't wait. But if I'm Tannehill, I'm do the Homer Simpson and hide back in the bushes. So, yeah, I ain't even in here. Y'all better get Malik out there. I ain't got time for this. You know what I'm saying? So,
can I ask you this? Do you blame Tannehill?
Hell no.
No.
Okay.
No. Ain't no. That man with the therapy and everything for this right here, man. Try to get back right, and we still boo on him. Like, no, man, no, I'm cool. Y'all don't really want me out here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I knew this was the end of the road for me, out of spite, I gone out there, first play, I'm gonna throw it out. Pick 6.
Let it roll.
And I'm going to hawk him down and push him in the end zone. And then take my helmet on and walk off like Antonio Brown. Like, this is y'all wanted? This is y'all got. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here you go. Like, you're welcome. You're all welcome. But, nah, man, I think it'll be tough to run out there like that, man. And, yeah, you want to go out on a winning note. And, you know, I think he gave his all.
There's no benefit for Tannehill either, though.
Yeah,
because if he goes out and plays
Yeah.
amazing, what was this the entire
Yeah,
time?
exactly. You damned if you do, damned if you don't with this
Or it's,
situation.
oh man, well this ain't the good team. So
Yep.
you're gonna hear all those conversations. There's no benefit for 17.
Nope, it's nothing on the line or nothing like, nah.
And really, what's the benefit for the Titans with either if Malik is not going to be here next year? Because we have no clue what his future is.
Right.
We have no clue if he's the backup next year. Maybe they give him a chance because they want to continue to develop him. But it's not like, I mean, what are they getting out of that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. That's why I asked Mike Keefe yesterday, man, and I knew the answer before asking. I'm just like, man, what do you do at this situation when you're not playing for playoffs or anything? It's more of an audition. I learned that. I think you have to learn that as a pro early. You know what I'm saying? Because, dude, there's always somebody right there to come take your spot, and they're always ready to, cut and bring in new talent for less money or whatever it may be, or the next big thing. And you got to go out there and prove every single time. So if I'm out there and I put my helmet on, shoulder pads on, tie my shoes, and I go out there, I'm giving them my all. I ain't finna go out there lacking. I heard Savage and them talking about it on the coach's show yesterday. That was perfect. Like you can't go out there half-stepping anything, especially in that game. Pro sports, you don't play around with. You can get away with that in college or something of that nature, you know what I mean? But pro, man, the people out here trying to feed their family. Them other teams you playing going for playoff spots. You know what I'm saying? And they auditioning too.
Yep.
Like every opportunity you get, man, you got to get out there and show something. They always, and I learned this early, they don't care what you did in the beginning of the season. I don't care what it is. They always remember how you end in pro sports. Always remember how you end.
It's interesting when you think about this fan base and all three quarterbacks. There has been a time where this fan base has been at odds and not wanted every quarterback on the roster. When they drafted Will Levis, it was a rough day on this show the next Monday, and including from us. We didn't want Will Levis.
We weren't believers.
Raise my hand and say I certainly thought it was the wrong pick.
Yep.
Malik Willis got booed when he came on just to do a Wildcat package.
Yeah, that was wild.
Against the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
And then Ryan Tannehill, there have been people wanting to get rid of Tannehill just since the Cincinnati game. Right. Mm-hmm. So who's the problem in this? I don't want to point fingers at the fans. I think fans have had a legitimate gripe with this offense at time, but the fans are the consistent factor of this, Slay, and I do think that's what makes this a delicate situation is. Regardless of who gets thrown out there on Sunday against the Seahawks, the fans have not wanted that person within the last calendar year, even if it's still Will Levis.
Yeah, and I think when you look at it and ask about the production, which coupled by the team and what they do, because it's at the end of the day, man, it's not the single person that lost the game or won the game. It's the team And I think all great franchises are built that way and understand that, hey, man, the team won this game. You know what I'm saying? The problem is you got the polarizing figures throughout the league. Has been the quarterback so much. All three of these spots that you're talking about is the quarterback. So that's what you're going to see immediately. That's who's leading your franchise. But overall, the teams play bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, and nobody's the quarterback is going to have to take the first bullet every single time, like even if they didn't do anything. Yep. So, I mean, I can't blame the fans because that's where it's been put. That's where the onus has been put on the quarterback's shoulders. You know what I mean? By the pay, you know what I'm saying? By the person that's thrown out there on the commercials. Like, that's who you see. That's who you want. Who's celebrated more so than not is the quarterback. The MVP race, we talk about it all the time, is a quarterback race. That's the highest award you can get in the NFL, being the MVP of the league. It's a quarterback award. So, at the same time, I understand it from the fan approach, being a fan of the game, and that's why you always see stability when you get a quarterback. What was soothing us when Will Levis started playing well. Yeah. Then everybody was, oh, wait, whoa, we got one. You know what I'm saying? But then you start losing, like, oh, hey, man, okay, it ain't Will's fault, it's the team, man. Oh, no, them coaches, what the coach? Now you're just scrambling for things. So to throw another quarterback in the mix if Will Levis is hurt, you throw the scramble back in it. You know what I mean? It's everybody just scrambling for, okay, what can we blame next?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then a win don't do nothing but mess it up for the week after that because now you start thinking, oh, man, see, it could have been like that. Yeah, like it's wild, man. And that's the roller coaster ride it is. That's why you'd rather be in the car, man, nice sedan, cruising along, you know what I mean, going 70 on cruise control, got your hands off the steering wheel, laid back and everything relaxed. Instead of having to go 95 to catch back up, slow back down, you got traffic at 10. You know what I'm saying? You don't want that, man. You want a smooth ride. And with the stability of a quarterback and the O-line, you get that at some point.
What was your first roller coaster? First one you ever rode when you were a kid?
Wow.
I know mine. Then again, I was a kid 2 weeks ago, but
what was yours?
The Thunderhead at Dollywood.
Oh.
It's a wooden coaster.
It might have been it might have been Summit Opryland.
Oh, okay.
When they had the
R.I.P. and peace.
I did go when I was little. We went to Disney World, and I got lost.
Oh gosh!
Yeah, I got lost as soon as we walked in the park.
That ain't a good place.
That's a television show that I would watch.
Yeah, so that
Where in the world is Ron Slay in Disney World?
Right?
I was like 9. I was like, but I saw Mickey Mouse off in the distance, so I was sprinting over there to get a hug.
You wished
turned
upon
around.
a star.
Yeah, no family was
to
around.
make a difference.
How'd you find him?
I don't know. They just kind of found me. It was weird. Yeah.
Were you tall then, at least?
Yeah, I was.
Okay,
good.
that's good.
Yeah, that helped. But yeah, it was kind of wild. So that probably was my first roller coaster ride.
You had a bougie upbringing. I ain't go to
great.
Disney until I was an adult.
Oh, dude,
no.
this was. Do you know how many members put in on this?
I know.
Like, it's like I'm talking about aunts,
knew that
uncles, cousins. We probably had 17 in a 15-passenger van. That ain't fun going to Orlando.
You were doing the all-inclusive stay at the park and take the tram over.
No, man. I remember we was at the motel. That was the most fun time, going to the pool at the motel.
Right? That's my favorite memory.
That and Busch Gardens, all I remember.
Yeah.
And you being lost.
Man.
3 things. Had a blast.
You didn't have tea with Cinderella in the castle while you were there, did you?
Next.
Ron Slay with us, 3HL and SEC Network.
Good.
Coming up, Tennessee back in the top 10 in the AP poll in hoops. And a guy stepped up in a big way and declared that he is back over the weekend. We'll talk about Zakai Ziegler's big night Saturday while you might have been asleep with Ron Slay coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster, Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Good people, hear me out, man. Hiller right now is giving away cash for the holidays with select purchases. Hiller wants to make sure that every child, we've been talking about this, experiences the joy of Christmas this year. So they're donating $50 in toys to Toys for Tots with every tankless water heater someone purchases and giving away a $250 Visa gift card with each unit, too. So you get a little gift on the back end of that. Or you can get a $500 Visa gift card when you buy select new HVAC systems or $500 Visa gift card with the purchase of a new whole home generator. And we've understood from the storms last week that may come in handy. So go ahead and reach out to them, man. And all these purchases have great financing options with low monthly payments. These deals are only available until the end of the year. So schedule today the same way I do, man. Type in happyhealer.com.
Wrapping up the show with Ron Slay on RKW. We are brewed by 8th and Roast. Late tip-off for Tennessee on Saturday night against NC State. Got close late. If you were awake like I was, you saw it. Ron Slay was awake watching it too.
You better believe it.
Sakai Ziegler declares that he is back, and they needed him in a big way with Dalton Connect not scoring. It was him and Josiah Jordan-James leading Tennessee to a win over NC State. Man, DJ Burns could not miss.
Nah, yeah.
He got the ball and wasn't out of breath.
Yeah, he getting his comfort zone. That's a big body, man. Like, he got touched around the basket. It was a reason they went and got him. They went and recruited him, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, they use him well, back down, gets it. I just don't know why they kept letting him go over his right shoulder to get that left hand hook. Make him go the other way, dog. Like, even if he's going to spin, make him go the other way. But, yeah.
Hey, that's some high skill.
No, that's serious. That's
He's a big
understanding
man.
who you are.
Yeah,
Like, and stay right
and
there.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
hey, but what you want me to do?
Yeah,
Feel his body and get
That's
this
it.
hook shot.
That's it.
That was,
That is
that was work.
I thought it was interesting, Rick Barnes' postgame with the Vol Network. Maybe I'm reading
What'd
too
he
much
go with?
into it. This to me is like the meanest thing Rick Barnes has ever said
What?
to someone who's not his own player. He said, well, we felt like if we could, I'm paraphrasing a little bit. I'll find the exact quote, but it was something to the effect of, we felt like if we could get him to the end of the game where he was out of breath,
Hell yeah.
we had a
well,
pretty
No,
good
that's
chance.
facts. That's
That's
coaching strategy.
facts.
Hell yeah. No, that's
Stating facts.
what? That's would have been the first. Listen, that's
Run 'em.
the first. Oh, what?
Run 'em.
I'm talking about off the jump ball. Like, no, man, we're going to pick. Man, we're going to pick and pop, reverse it to me. Guard go through. I'm skipping it to the other side. We're going it again. I don't care if I got an open shot. We're going side to side. He got to keep showing. Our guard's going to keep getting a layup, or I'm going to keep getting this open jumper. Like, it ain't.
What
no.
they say, slow feet don't eat.
Man, that's your fault for getting out here
There
and
you
getting
go.
big like that. Everybody tell you sit down at the buffet.
He said, we
Get
felt
up.
like if we could get the tempo we wanted, he might struggle to end the game.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Uh-huh.
go, Rick.
Ain't no ifs, ands, or
You
buts
know what
about
you
it.
call him.
From a former Tennessee volunteer.
We got a line.
Yeah, we got one.
We got a candy
one.
boy.
You better know it.
You
We
better
got
get
one.
a piece of this, Will.
Man, all right.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Slay, I know you're with the SEC, but if you could put your ACC hat on, you think Kevin Keats is the Wolfpack coach next year?
Man, I'm not sure because I like how they ended last year. Was it the year before when they went to the tourney?
They made the tournament last year.
Yeah, it was last year. Oh, yeah. I thought coming back into this year they were going to be much better, man, and I don't see the growth. I just see, I feel like DJ Burns is kind of holding them hostage. I thought the tempo was different. I think they ought to play them less and in different spurts than they playing them right now because those guards can't get loose like they need to. When they play up and down, I think they're a problem, man. They remind you of an old school Louisville-like team when Patino had them. But I don't know if Keith's going to be able to get it because you got to be a strong-willed guy to say, hey, DJ Burns, you got to sit down. You know what I'm saying? Especially with him coming back like it is. So to answer your question, Bert, if they keep it this pace, if they don't change something with the rotation, he ain't the coach.
Because what they had, that perimeter defense was monstrous.
Now they can get. They got athletes out there, man. They can get to it, and they're competitive and want to play. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I don't think he's gonna be the coach. And NC State always got to pull. Like everybody hear about Carolina and Duke.
Oh, yeah.
Man, them boys right there. They always got to pull from that nice pool too. So. Yeah.
And they've had tough injury sled in the last couple
True.
of years, but Keats likes to play 8 or 9 guys so where nobody gets in foul trouble, and you could tell that Burns, like you said, is not letting them play the style that they want to play.
Yep, exactly. Because they actually closed the lead when they subbed and put Burns to the bench, and they brought him back in to try to finish the game. By that time, UT rolling it's tough to get back in the groove of that.
Never wanted to ever body shame anybody. They got him 6'9", 272. Where is he?
He probably about 6'9", 310.
Yeah, give him at least 3,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, he's a bit
272.
Dang.
Yeah, that's probably what he was at the end of the season
Where
last
they
year.
want
Getting ready to go,
him.
yeah, want to get you about like
Right.
that. And then he's like, no, forget that, I'm going to eat.
That says a
He got
lot.
his,
I did
though.
it.
He
He
did
gonna
get his.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. Yeah, heck yeah.
You know what I love to see, though?
What?
Him at left tackle.
Yeah, there we
the
go.
Problem. I don't know if he got the grit for it, though.
I have one of the, and this is probably all
Basketball
season
players act
conversation.
tough
We gonna have
sometimes,
to though. But like
really
that,
ain't
like
always,
realizing your strengths, big dog.
Yeah.
Like you can go be cool, go overseas for a few, but you be an all pro.
Yeah, go get
Admiral
you. He got
Setterfield,
feet.
the linebacker.
At
He got
right
feet.
tackle?
He got feet. He got good feet.
So many of my homeboys in high school, why, dude, you 6'2".
Yeah.
You ain't even on nobody's recruiting. You,
Right.
And ain't gonna be.
you play small forward.
Yeah.
Right.
Ain't gonna be.
You better come on this football field with me. Then they come out our senior year. Every
Yeah.
single one of them got football
They
scholarships.
do it every time.
I was
Just
so
late.
mad.
Late to the party.
I was so mad at them, man.
nothing to do
Like,
with it,
we
Drew.
could have won state if you fools had came out here earlier, man.
Yep. How dare they?
Hey, parents, parents,
Go ahead.
be honest with yourselves and your kids, okay? It's hard being a 6'1" point guard trying to make it to the NBA. That boy be a world All-American wide receiver, safety.
Yeah,
Like,
pause.
man, all right, I'm done.
But my son has heart, Ramon, and you can't
geez.
teach
I
that.
almost
So
cussed
okay.
you out, Bert.
I didn't know that was
Bert.
Bert at
Damn
first.
your heart.
Like,
He's got a
what
lot
is-
of passion
in.
and a hell of a jump shot.
That coach just won't play him.
We got Donna on the line. Freaking Donna.
Man, I'm a realist when it comes to that type stuff,
You gotta
though.
be.
Yep.
You gotta be.
That's all.
Gotta
I'm
be.
done. I'm done.
There you go. Ron Slay, 3HL.
Yeah, man. But
Big Days
Zakai is
3-6.
back though. I told y'all, man.
go.
I told y'all going into it. The best thing that the thing that a guy coming off an ACL can't wait to show you is that jumper. I'm telling you, listen, I'm speaking from experience.
It's like Harold in the Bend.
Dude, that's all. Yeah, like that's all you got to work on when you coming off of it. The strength that you can jump and you back strong, and that all you've been doing is working on your jumper because that's the first thing you get to do. Work on the form of your jumper, and that's what exactly what he did. That man was pulling NBA range.
He was.
And he been doing it leading up to this. Just been missing, but now that he's getting in that rhythm, man, don't y'all be surprised if a shift takes place in the SEC and Dalton Connect becomes the third leading scorer. No, that don't mean he ain't the go-to guy.
Right.
Just the third leading scorer.
I'm all about Zakai. I love Zakai Ziegler, man.
Yeah, that dude a
what
dog,
a
man.
dude.
He's a dog.
Tennessee next plays Tarleton State on Thursday,
Beautiful.
which, if you were wondering,
Wow.
is a school.
Yeah,
where
got
is
icing.
that real
Put
quick?
icing on that one.
Texas, I think.
Icing
Okay,
on that
and
cupcake.
then Norfolk State.
Yeah, I put some more icing on it.
Don't say it wrong.
Tarleton
Light it count,
State
though.
is
Yeah.
in Stephenville, Texas.
JJ ready.
Stephenville, Texas is where Tarleton State is.
That's
Okay.
cool. Well, bring them on.
Yo.
We got money for them.
Tarleton up.
Send them back good.
We're back at it tomorrow morning. A little scout meeting Wednesday, but a big self-scout of the Titans. Ramon Foster has gone into the film room to break down some offensive line.
Oh, I can't wait.
Since people are trying to tell him about the position he played for 11
Let's
years.
go.
I'm telling you, y'all don't want to miss tomorrow. It might be do it. Okay? But at all times, okay, you must remember that your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot.
If you ain't sneezing, it ain't season.